Yeah, look at that. It's a Victory Wednesday here on Ben and Woods. It's been so long. It's been 84 years since the San Diego Padres have actually won a baseball game, and we are here to talk about it this morning. Welcome, man.
It's been 84 years.
84 years. That old bag.
She had the diamond the whole time.
And she had plenty of room on that door. Plenty. There was plenty of room. She let that guy sink to the bottom of the sea. All right. Well, see you later. I'll just die.
Along with her $1 million diamond.
Yeah.
Later.
Yeah. Yeah. She just had that diamond the whole time.
I know I could bless my grandchildren.
Yeah. The whole family.
Grandchildren's children's children.
Yes.
Forever. But I'm just going to toss this in the middle of the ocean.
Hated it. Good morning, everybody. Ben and Woods 97.3, The Fan. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Rindle, the executive producer of the program. Good morning, Paulie.
Hey, how are you?
Doing great. Benjamin Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins as well. Benjamin, how are you, my friend?
I'm good.
Good.
I'm good. Always feel better after a win.
Yes.
Padres
Such a relief.
Padres needed that one.
They did.
Even though they would tell you that they weren't worried.
Right.
And they did many times last week. Mike Shildt.
It's a good mantra.
Players not worried. Still, I got the sense that they felt pretty happy that they got that win last night.
Yeah, I was really happy too. What I did not want to happen was them fritter that one away, and it looked like they were in dire circumstances of maybe doing that until obviously Xander Bogaerts comes through, and we'll talk about all of that. It was a really, really nice game, man. The vibes in the chat are already high. It is weird, man. It is weird how this team is really kind of the pulse of the city. I mean, it really is how that's how it is, and that's how it's been for a while. And we're just going to enjoy the ride as best we can. How was everybody's evening yesterday? Paul, you had hoops.
Had hoops.
You had hoops.
I had the early game, 6:15. So I was in the car in the bottom of the first, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't miss much.
Good.
Got the dub.
That's just the most important thing.
20-plus point victories in a row. Feeling
You guys
good.
are dominating.
Vibes are good on the tier ones.
On the tier one basketball team. The tier one baseball team has dropped 4 straight. And
vibes are not great.
Vibes are not great. Got to figure it out this weekend, perhaps.
I'm going to the cage tomorrow.
Are you? All right. Yeah. So, Paulie, we didn't talk about this on Monday. We had the debut of the torpedo bat on Sunday.
Yeah.
Today's Wednesday. We haven't taled about it yet.
Well, need to hit the ball to let you know if it's good.
If it actually works yet. It was 0 for 3 Ks. It happens. The guy was, we've seen that guy before.
He no-hit us almost last time.
He threw a 2-hitter against us last time. It's our buddy Kevin. Shout out, Ludat. I'll give you a shout out. You were good. He's beaten us twice.
Shout out to Kevin.
Okay, Kevin. Here's your shout out. No, he's a good dude.
So the torpedo bat doesn't magically help you make contact. It just supposedly, if you do make contact,
it's supposed to be better.
I would have needed one of those like orange wiffle ball bats that are like super torpedoes.
The Flintstone one, the ones where your kids swing it and they get excited. You're like, "Hey, relax. All right, let's not."
It ain't that easy.
That's not that easy, buddy. Okay, yeah. Bo had this blue one, this big blue one that he used to bat and get all excited. I'm like, buddy, come on. That thing is, and now, now he sees how hard it can be. Benjamin, how about your evening?
Good. Went down to the Clubhouse pregame, so got to see Mike Shildt.
Talk to Shilty.
Talk to Luis Arise and Jason Hayward upon their return to the roster yesterday.
Wow. So you went back to Jason Hayward.
I didn't have any weird questions to ask.
Just about the game. Well, you learned your lesson.
Well, I figured I'll just let everybody else ask the question.
Oh, you didn't ask anything.
I'll just record them.
Actually,
for the answers.
Counterpoint, can your bit, for as long as Jason Hayward is a Padre, be you only ask him
weird questions,
obscure non-baseball
that'd
questions?
That'd be such a good bit. What would you have asked him? What could you have asked him yesterday? That was like in the news, perhaps.
Hey, have you seen these Australian twins? They talk in
Jason.
unison.
They talk like this at the same time.
Pull out your phone, pull a Mark Grant, show it to him.
Conclave in the Vatican, Jason.
Ask him about stuff like that and see what he responds. I just want the look, because he gave you a look that day when you asked him
We tell people, if you can't stand
there was another one
to us,
simply
just switch off the
radio. We played it on Friday. You haven't heard. There was they did an interview about
talking at the same time.
The fact that they do that. And they said, we've tried to do it, and we tried to talk separately. It doesn't work for us. But again, I submit that one sister is coattail riding the other one. They're not in unison. There's no way you could ever be in unison. So one just jumps in and does it at the end. But so we played that on Friday, I believe. It is.
So, yeah.
I mean, it's staggering. Oh, you should have asked him. How about 100 men defeating a gorilla? That was like the most. That was like the most.
Is it weird that I have no interest in that topic, and I love those kind of topics.
I couldn't have cared less, not even a little bit. Number one, I don't want to see anybody beat up a gorilla. That's where it starts and stops.
You know,
for me.
I hope the gorilla wins.
Like
I hope he beats up all 100
but 100
of you.
people is like, that's a ridiculous number of people.
Yeah, I still think the gorilla wins.
I don't think it's particularly close.
Because I don't think a man would be brave enough, even in numbers, to go and attack a gorilla.
I'm assuming,
I really don't.
For whatever reason, the men have to attack this gorilla. Their life depends on it. They die if they don't. So if you actually had to fight, and 100 people had to fight,
how did we get into this? I did not want to do this.
You brought it up.
Somebody said in the chat, ask him about the gorilla thing. Everybody knows what it is. It's a new.
I mean, you have like 6 or 7 just sitting on the gorilla's legs, and
good luck. How are you going to get 6 or 7 people on a gorilla's leg?
You all just start climbing on his back, and you swamp him under, and then that's it. It's 100 men.
Okay. I think after 3 guys tried it, the other 97 would be like, not today, buddy. I'm leaving.
Well, all right, since we already spent 2 minutes on it, now you have to go down to Petco Park today and ask Jason Hayward.
100 men.
That's your homework assignment.
V a gorilla. How was Shildt?
Shildt seemed good.
Shildt did?
Yeah, I was surprised considering,
good.
Obviously been a tough week, but seemed like he was in good spirits.
I feel like he's grouchier after we win. I swear to God, I feel like he is.
Asked me if I had lost some weight.
Oh!
Thanks, Mike. I said, you look good too. He goes, oh, yeah, I think it's mostly just stress. My hair's getting more gray too. I'm not surprised with the job that you have. So
that has got to be the most stressful job, dude. I mean, it's up there, right? Obviously, you're a pediatric surgeon. That's a pretty stressful job. But being a baseball manager would be rough. It really, really would be rough. I saw it last night. They took Pavetta out. Estrada, who's been nails, comes in, gives up a few runs. Why'd you take Pavetta out? Idiot. And it's just like, oh my God, I got to answer these questions every single night, dude. It is, it's a tough one. No, I mean, I really do. I feel like when the team's going well, I feel like Shilt's like grouchier. And when they're going bad, I think he has to overcompensate with more positivity. You know what I mean? And I feel like when you're like, oh man, I'm on eggshells around Shildt after they've lost 4 in a row. He's like, hey, bud, how you doing? You're like, good, man. How are you?
How fantastic is that?
It's very, very, very strange. Need Woodsy to get on Shildt about strategy again. Absolutely. It's my favorite. And now he knows it's coming. So, old Shildt, dude. I do love that man. I really do. I've said it before. I really would like to just sit and talk baseball with just no mic, no nothing. Just sit in a coffee shop and be like, I'm not going to talk. So I'm going to rely on you to just talk to me. Just tell me. Just feed me info about baseball. Give me your theories.
I would love, Padres do their ball talk sessions.
Yeah, I do anything.
I don't know if it's this first game of every series.
Yeah,
I
thought it was every
day.
I thought it was every day. But if you want to be there, you can.
Yeah, you just kind of sit around and you discuss situations that come up during games and like, all right, how should we handle this? How would you handle this? What do you think is the best way to go about it? Like detailed inside baseball talk with the guys who are the best in the world at playing the sport.
Yeah.
And it just sounds fascinating to me.
All right.
We went out to dinner with him at spring training a couple of years ago. We're all in our civvies. He's not in his uniform. He's not in interview mode. And he told stories about Albert Pujols, Tony La Russa. I could have sat there for hours and listened to every one of those stories.
Yeah, I love that stuff, man. The philosophies and I don't know. He's just a really fascinating baseball guy. You know that he eats it and lives it and sleeps it and breathes it. You know he does. And you know that every conversation really ends up steered in that direction. And he's an interesting dude. Well, I'm glad you got to get some FaceTime. I have yet to get down and get any FaceTime. I'm always reluctant to go down. I'm never going to be the guy with the camera in their face every day. What were you looking for? I just can't. It's just not who I am.
And I didn't go down to the scrum, but I happened to be in the clubhouse, and he walked through. You don't always see him in the clubhouse. You
see Jake or anybody?
I saw Jake at a distance. He came in later, but I was already over with the Arise scrum that we were kind of waiting for Luis to come out since he hadn't really talked since the concussion and how he felt and everything. So we were all waiting to get the big soundbite for the news, which then I played on the news, so I didn't get to talk to Jake.
We have different objectives when we go down.
Correct.
You're getting stuff for the news. I just want to go say hello and then let him get to work.
But Shildt passed through while I was waiting, so I came over and said hello, and we chatted for a minute. It looked like he had a slice of pie or something from the
a slice of pie.
It looked like there's something with some whipped cream on it, so it looked like maybe a slice of pie from the.
Well, it was Blueberry Pie Day.
It's true.
Hey, like a bloody beer, Jerry.
I'd do anything to see Shildt have a piece of pie with Shildt. I would do anything at all.
Look like a pregame slice of pie. That's what I saw. I could be wrong. I mean, wants to correct the record on Friday on the manager's report.
Yeah,
he can certainly do so. But it was my reporter's opinion that he was emerging from the lunchroom with a slice of pie that he was taking back to his office.
I don't know why it makes me laugh so hard. It's like,
why do I picture pumpkin pie even in April?
I just feel like somebody's like, Shildt, there's pie in the break room. He's like, really? And runs to
excuse me 1 second.
Cuts himself up a slice. He's like, I'm going to take this in my office, sit down and have a little piece of pie before the game. I texted you guys yesterday. I got a new concierge request yesterday, which was fun. San Diego's concierge, Stephen Woods here. People DM me and ask me lots of questions all the time. Random, just as random as it gets. And our buddy, his name's Jamie. He's an umpire. I love Jamie. He DM'd me yesterday. And again, he listens to the show so much. I thought, oh, he's doing a bit. He wasn't doing a bit. He hit me up yesterday. He was at Petco Park, and he goes, hey, Woodsy, I'm at Petco Park, and I've got a hankering for that lobster roll. Where do I find it? And I said, I don't know. I don't work at Petco Park, and the only lobster roll, I've only been to Petco Park twice this season. Hey, buddy, do you know where they have the lobster rolls at Petco Park? I got a craving today. I said, I don't know where they keep it.
It's at the Pacifico Power Alley.
Okay, there you go. Now Ben knows. Maybe people should start writing you. You're way more informed. I'm like the dumbest guy to ask for recommendations.
They brought us out to try all those things so we would know these answers.
But they brought it to us. They didn't walk us to the thing to get it.
To go see everything.
I got another one yesterday.
Do people not? And sorry, Jamie, you're just today's
Jamie's
example.
the best. He is the best.
Love you, but do people not realize they can? That's a very easy to Google answer.
What?
Petco Park lobster rolls, section 113, whatever. Like that is very easy to find.
Why do they ask me? Oh, here we go. Yesterday, 11:09. I was at the gym, getting ready to just get killed. What up, Woodsy? I'm in Chicago right now, taking a tour of Wrigley, which is pretty sick. Wanted to know what hole in the places. That's weird.
Hole in the wall places.
Yeah, okay. Hole in the places to eat. Want to get the real experience of hot dogs. LOL. Anything you got, man? Appreciate it. I said, buddy, it's been so long since I lived there. You got to ask your tour guide. You're on a tour of Wrigley Field with a guy you just say to him, hey man, what's the best place to get the old Chicago style dog around here? Not the one where the tourists go. I want to go to the one, where you would go. I lived in Chicago like 25 years ago, so I have no idea. But I don't know, man. It is what it is. Oh, got another one yesterday. Somebody you might know. Your mom.
Oh, really?
Your mom got me yesterday,
needed some San Diego concierging.
She did. She said, I know. I'm so sorry. She apologized. She knew. She goes, we want to go to the Sphere. And you've been twice. What's the best place to sit? And I had great advice for her that I could weigh in on. I said, floor's great. Don't sit in section 100. You're probably going to be obscured. 200 or 300.
That's a fair question.
It's a very fair question. I've been twice.
You've been twice.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody else that's been more than once.
Did she say what show they want to go to?
She didn't. My guess is probably the Grateful Dead, knowing your parents. Yeah, well,
I've never known them to listen to the Grateful Dead.
Well, listening to their son every day talk about all the things
ganja, aka
that
cannabis.
he talks about.
Loose cannabis.
Are
the Eagles still playing them? They
They
would
are.
love the Eagles.
They are. I bet
think
you it's the Eagles.
That would be my
Everybody
must get stoned.
The Eagles, I would bet. It was such a great show. But yeah, you do want to make sure you're in the right seats. Before they bought tickets, they reached out to San Diego's Concierge, and as I'm always happy to help.
I was
Always
using my vape pen last night.
Right.
And it was great.
It was great. So I love the and again, people are asking me stuff now, and I don't know if they're like, hey, watch this. I'm gonna make Woods insane. So I'm gonna keep asking because I keep saying it and I keep calling people out on the air and they keep asking. So I don't know, like, how do we turn this into just a really good bit? It makes me laugh every time. Every single time.
The funny thing is, I don't really ask you for recommendations for anything.
No.
I'd prefer to research them on my own.
Yeah, you're a big researcher.
Yeah.
And for me, I don't really like it. People come to town here and like, what's a great place to eat? I'm like, we eat at Chick-fil-A and Fish District like every day. Like, I don't ask him. He's a much better. If I'm coming to town and Ben Higgins lives there and I want to go on a golf trip with my buddies, this dude will literally script out an itinerary, eat breakfast here, eat lunch here, make sure you have dinner here, play this course. I would go, play the Encinitas Ranch, get some Shake Shack. I mean, I have no idea.
Be honest. Have you looked at any menus for any Philadelphia?
Oh, he's got
I was
it
doing
clocked.
it yesterday.
He's
I
got it
already
clocked.
found a place for some banana pudding for Woods because I know he likes that. That's right next to our hotel. I was searching through the Reading market, which we're right by, to see what kind of options we had there. Oh,
Are we set?
Yeah.
We're set up.
Well, I mean, I'm not 100% set, but the research has started in earnest.
And that's the best part is Paulie and we won't have to do anything. Nothing.
Perfect.
We're like, all right, where are we going to breakfast? Where are we going to lunch? Where are we going to dinner? I can't wait for that. Now, have you done Ben GPT? I like that. Woodsy's the concierge. Ben is Ben GPT. What ballpark food? Have you done that yet?
I have not done Citizens
Okay.
Bank Park yet. That's that'll happen in the future. But
Dominic nails it here. He says it's ironic that the guy who hates getting recommendations is the one getting constantly asked to give recommendations. It's true. It's true. Well, we got to take a break. It is our time to take a break. We've run long talking about all the fun things that we do.
that's okay. We'll set the menu when we come back and then get into our Padres wrap up of a win, the first one in a week for your San Diego Padres. Go through the 7-4 win over the San Francisco Giants last night. All coming up after Kelly's first check of traffic this morning. Happy Wednesday, everybody. It's Ben and Woods and Paul. He's actually part of the show, not a special guest on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
$47,300 and change last night at Petco Park for Tony Gwynn, rookie bobblehead night. Really nicely done with Tony Gwynn Jr.'s kids. And
that was cool.
Tony's grandkids throwing out the first pitch. But Don and Mudd and Tony and Jesse did a really good job on the broadcast, bringing up lots of Tony Gwynn stories and memories. And, I thought Don, he didn't get to experience it the way Mudd did. Mudd was a teammate of Tony and broadcast during the latter part of Tony's career. But Don always says, I look at these numbers, and they're they're like amazing. Was he playing a different sport? And I enjoyed his wide-eyed amazement at Tony Gwynn's career with the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, it looked really, really cool last night. The place was absolutely rocking. Of course, they, talked about, man, when they did that interview with Tony Gwynn, and he's talking about getting that knock, and Pete Rose walking up to him, shaking his hand and saying, hey, you going to try to pass my record tonight, kid? And the smile on his face, ear to ear, was so special. And then, of course, the video that they show when he gets the call. It just guts me every time I see it. I weep like a baby every time I see him put his head down in his hands. My buddy John Boggs in the background, like, it gets me every single time.
Because Tony truly didn't believe he was getting the call,
which is insane. Which is insane.
He was as much of a shoe-in as anyone for first ballot Hall of Fame status, but he refused to even acknowledge when anyone would bring it up. He goes, I'm not talking about it. Until I get the call, I'm just assuming.
Is that right?
Yeah, I'm not getting it. I'm not going to let myself get hopeful. And so when he got the call, you could see he was almost like overwhelmed and shocked, even though any logical person would go, let's see, on 3 weeks from today, I'm getting the call for the Hall of Fame, because obviously he was getting the call for the Hall of Fame, but his reaction was priceless. I interviewed him later that summer when he was about to go to Cooperstown. I went to his office at San Diego State, and we talked about the that first hit that he got when Pete Rose greeted him at second base, and he had not seen the video. It had been lost for a while, and I found it in our Channel 10 archives.
Nice.
And
you showed it to him.
I brought the tape to his office and had him watch it and react to it. And he said, I haven't seen this in 20 plus years. And he went through the story of the whole at bat in the day, and it was definitely one of my favorite pieces to do and one of my favorite memories of doing an interview with Tony Gwynn. I was lucky enough to do, a couple dozen over the years where I got to sit down and chat with him. He was always so generous with his time. He was really good with the media. Not surprising considering his personality, but it was really fun last night to, they should have some sort of Tony Gwynn night every single year.
Oh yeah.
Just because I think fans enjoy it so much to bring up those old stories.
No question. I thought the tweet of the night came from our buddy Sam Nair. Said Dodgers fans must have come out to see both of their rivals last night with 47,345 people at Petco Park. Sammy knocked that one out of the park. It was awesome. It was awesome. And again, seeing Tony's kids out there slinging the rock, and it was special. It always is. And that bobblehead is amazing. We will admiring it at home.
We will go through the game coming up in our next segment. Also, in the 7 o'clock hour, we'll get more specific. Did everyone see what happened in I think it was the 5th inning when Ruben Niebla came out with 2 outs and 2 strikes and talked to Nick Pivetta? And the speculation was that perhaps the Giants, with a runner on second, were stealing signs. Now, Pivetta struck out the next batter, flipped around, said something to it. Was it Andrew Bailey out at second base? We have what Nick Pivetta said after the game, so we'll play you some of the post-game audio from Nick Pivetta about that incident and the rest of the game coming up in our 7 o'clock hour. We'll have our regular features like Don't Do This, Take on Woods. It is a Big League Wednesday, and it is a bi-weekly Wednesday, which means Brett Boone will join us coming up at 8:35 this morning, our Odyssey Insider, to talk a little more Major League Baseball as well. Rindle Report in the 9 o'clock hour. And we got some more boxing tickets to give away as well. Stay tuned for your chance to win for the bout at Pechanga Arena on May 10th. It's all coming up, but I want to get to our Padres wrap-up highlights with Jesse, Tony, and more coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's not the smoothest of transitions, but I'll tell you about Eco Water anyway because I love it. Got my big jug of Eco Water as I always do. We've got the unit in our home. And it's been brilliant, man, since we've had it. Everybody loves it. The kids love it. The wife loves it. Makes your old pal Woodsy look like a hero when I got that put in the house. It's the best bottled quality water you can have. They're reverse osmosis system. You could drink it right out of the tap. You could drink it right out of the shower if you want. Our skin feels better. Our coffee tastes better. And again, the pets, it's better for everyone. Our kids bathe in better water, and you can certainly taste the difference. Clean water deserves clean air as well. Eco Water SoCal has state-of-the-art air purification, removes 99.99% of pollutants. So now we've got pure water, fresh air, and a happy family. All thanks to Eco Water SoCal. Get a free in-home water test today. I will submit to you. When they do the water test, you will be blown away. You will be very surprised at what you find in your water. So call them today, 760-350-3338. Try the Soft Life and alkaline water now for just $9.95 a month. You can also visit ecowatersocal.com. Let them know Woodsy sent you. Not everything in life should be hard, especially your water. Keeping it soft since 1925.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
For the Jackals are going to pick you alive, Benny.
It's fine. It's Patrick Bailey, not Andrew Bailey. That was on second base.
It's just unbelievable.
Andrew Bailey is the Red Sox pitching coach.
Yeah, I love him. I have a huge man crush on him. Huge.
He's fantastic. In the clubhouse.
So good, man. So good. I just want to hang out with him. Have him teach me about pitching.
So the Padres obviously got Luis Arraez and Jason Hayward back yesterday. They won the game. Going to be very easy for us to make that
the correlation,
the straight line correlation.
Absolutely.
Hey, get healthy, and I think there is something to that. Luis Arraez had a single and a sacrifice fly. Jason Hayward doubled and scored a run, I believe. So they did contribute, obviously, to the win. But really, it was Xander Bogaerts coming through twice in that game that was the big key. Xander did not spend any time on the injured list. He's been around the whole time. Does that, does it make a difference to have those guys back? Absolutely it does. But, the most important thing for the Padres is to get production from their top players. And yesterday, for really the first time all season, it was Xander who came through for the San Diego Padres. And we will talk about Xander's big night, hopefully getting some of that pressure off that had started to build with a really rough stretch for Xander Bogaerts. And we'll talk about it all after the highlights coming up following our check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Islands Restaurants. Starting to heat up on the roads a bit. Got this accident involving a car and a big rig. West 8 to the northbound 67 connector. It's over the right shoulder. And heading out of town on the coastline, northbound 5 before Barcelona, two-car collision over to the right shoulder. Ready for a delicious escape? The new Islands Restaurant's $10 protein bowls are your ticket, packed with over 40 grams of protein and stacked with fresh ingredients. They're only here for a limited time, so enjoy one today. Visit islandsrestaurants.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I love winning, man. I love winning. You know what I'm saying? It's like better than losing.
Miss any of the Padres win yesterday? Ben and Woods didn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got you covered with all of the highlights.
Oh, yes.
It's the
Padres wrap-up.
Brought to you by Hamul Casino Resort. Things are about to get real with the all-new Hamul Casino Resort with gorgeous rooms and exciting new eats and drinks. It gets real this summer at Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
I want to go fast, but I want to go slow, and I want to go deep.
As he rolls this one slowly off the mound into center, and a base hit. Machado around third on his way. The throw will go to third base. Sheets is safe. Machado scores, and Xander into second behind the play. His first RBI in 21 days. As Iglesias shoots one into right field. That's down in a base hit. Sheets has scored. Bogaerts on his way. Jose Iglesias a 2-run single. And the Padres a 3-0 lead. Here's a 1-0. Adames swings, sends it in the air, high and deep to right center field. Long run for Wade and Fernando at the wall. It's going to go. Tatis jumped up, gave it a great shot. But Adames hits his second as a Giant. And they are on the board here in the fourth inning. It's 3-1. Machado swings, lines it into center field and a base hit. Diaz is rounding third. He's going to come in and score. Manny Machado, an RBI single, his second hit of the night, and the Padres have a 5-1 lead. He is 0 for 2. He's hit the ball towards Manny twice. That's never really a good idea. Lines this one over Bogaerts into center, and a base hit. Adames being waved by Matt Williams. Wade's throw is on the way home, cut by Machado. An RBI single for Jung-Hoo Lee, and the Giants are now within 3. It's 5-2. 2-2 pitch hit on a line the other way towards the left field corner. That's a fair ball. Going to roll all the way into the corner. Hayward's got to get it. Lee has already scored. Ramos is on his way. Machado's relay has no shot to get him. It gets away behind the plate. Estrada backing up, throws to third. The tag from Bogaerts not in time. So Wade ends up all the way at third as both runs scored, and it's a one-run game now in the 6th. 2-2 hit in the air deep down the left field line. Xander towards the little wall. This one gonna go! A 2-run homer for Xander Bogaerts. His much-needed first of the year. And the Padre lead is re-extended. It's 7-4. Here's Bailey batting left-handed. First pitch swinging. Ground ball to the right side. Iglesias has got it. His throw to first is in time. And Suarez a 1-2-3 top of the 9th inning to pick up his 11th save in his many opportunities. And the Padres snap their mini skid with a 7-4 win over the San Francisco Giants.
I mean, yeah, it's a nice ball game. It's a good win. No question about it. Rightfully get asked, like, what's the level of concern? What's going on? And when I answer with confidence and not a whole lot of, like, what do you mean? It's because just look around our clubhouse. We got winners up and down the lineup. We got winners up and down the rotation.
2-out magic for your San Diego Padres. Scored 6 of their 7 RBI came with 2 outs. Plus the sacrifice fly really was the second out of the inning. So you could make the argument that every single run scored with 2 outs. The biggest 3, though, I thought clearly were the 3 in the first inning after Tatis strikes out and Arise grounds out quickly.
Yeah.
Logan Webb usually is most vulnerable in the first inning.
Yep.
So
like a 10. Padres had hit him to like a 10 ERA in the first.
And if you let a guy settle in quickly like that, you could be in for a long night. So for the Padres to put together that 2-out rally there was just huge last night.
Well, I mean, look, when you only have to throw 1 strike to Fernando Tatis Jr. to get him to strike out 1, you threw him 1 strike in that at bat. I mean, he was off 2 balls, and then it was down a ball, and he got banged looking, which made, it was like, oh, this is going to be one of those nights. And Arise, comebacker right back to him. You're like, oh, great, here we go. Manny got it going. And Sheets kept it going with a walk, and then Xander came through with the, probably not his hardest hit ball of the year by far, but he got the job done. It's a results-based business, and then they're off and running. I thought the knock by Iglesias was incredible, absolutely needed. Give him a little cushion, Benny, a little cushion for the pushing. And you knew, if you'd watched the Giants at all this season, that they have employed a little bit of devil magic. They do have a little bit of that devil magic in them right now. And I was wondering, oh no, is it going to rear its ugly head at Petco Park on Tony Gwynn night? Like, we got to win this game tonight, guys. Come on. And boy, did they, man. And you cannot say enough about that clutch home run from Xander Bogaerts last night. And I do mean clutch. That was as clutch as it gets. That kid that he was up against, Ben, does not happen to him. Rodriguez, he does not give up home runs.
Doesn't give up anything. Hadn't given up anything all season.
Correct.
But Xander came through. My son, we were watching the game at home, and he goes, Xander's going to hit a 2-run home run here to extend the lead.
Did you roll your eyes?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. There was really no indication that something like that was coming, but he's got that optimism gene from his dad and just felt like, okay, something good's about to happen. And he was absolutely correct.
The barrel that he caught, it was his first registered barrel against a right-hander this entire season. And are we in May yet? It's not May yet. Not
April
quite.
30th.
But holy smokes, man. He looked better. His ABs looked better. He didn't look like he was collapsing, on his front side and waving at the ball. Whatever work he put in at Boomers or whatever the day before certainly seemed to pay off, at least last night. And the nature of this terrible game that we all love so much is, hey, fantastic. Got to do it again today. Like that's the grind of being a baseball player. You got to come through again today. Another huge game. Michael King on the bump. You're feeling pretty good about it, but got to do it again. I did find it very poetic that you moved Xander out of the 2 and out of the 4, and you put him in the 5, and it immediately comes to him in the first inning with a chance to do some damage, and he does. Was very happy for him. We need him. We can't win a World Series without him. We can't. It's not going to be possible to win a World Series without Xander Bogaerts performing. It's just not. So I'm obviously everyone's rooting for that.
I would qualify that. And what's your definition of performing? He does not have to be.
No, he does not have to be
an MVP candidate for the Padres to win a World Series.
Absolutely not. But he cannot go into, he can't have 47, an OPS of 74, an OPS plus a 74. He can't. He's got to be in that 90-100 range, man. He has to be.
Well, I'd like to see him in the 110
sure.
to 120
well,
range.
Of course. But you know what I'm saying? You cannot win a World Series without production from him. And it was really cool. Again, you got to do it again today. I thought last night, the one pervasive thought I had throughout the entire game as they kept panning to Bob Melvin in the dugout was, has Bob Melvin ever dipped his lips in milk like Ben Higgins? Because his lips are perpetually chapped. I wasn't thinking about the game. All I thought about yesterday, the entire day, was you dipping your lips in milk to soothe them.
I didn't do that again last night.
You did not?
No.
What did you do last
chapstick,
night?
Just more chapstick.
Well, everyone was focused on the game. All I was thinking about was you with your lip in a bowl
because
of
of Bob Melvin.
And I saw Bob Melvin. I went, he needs Ben's milk treatment.
Spring training in Arizona.
Oh,
so you're there in the dryness for 7 weeks every year. You've got all the air travel where you're in the pressurized cabins, and I'm sure it's just murder on the skin to be a Major League Baseball manager.
I just also, man, Adrian Morahone last night. How fantastic was that guy?
He was fantastic. So was Jason Adam.
Adam was, and Robert Suarez. Those guys, a little bit of a hiccup for
such a nasty
for Jeremiah. Yeah, it's so nasty.
And I will say the 2-run double that Estrada gave up was not a bad pitch.
I think it was a bad pitch selection.
Maybe
there was a decent location. Bad. His gas. He was on fire last. You don't throw a guy hitting 118 anything he can handle at all. Just blow it by him. But Morahone, check this out. He's got 5 2/3 innings this season that have been labeled high leverage by Fangraphs. In those innings, ready for this? 0.00 ERA, 0 hits allowed, and a 0.54 weighted on base average. That is as big of a
0.0.
That is as big of a weapon as you can have coming out of the bullpen.
The numbers will state that this was probably Nick Pavetta's second worst start of the year, which is weird. Because I thought he was outstanding. He did give up the home run to Adames. The inherited runner scored after he gave up a couple of hits. Not that well. He got behind Adames again. Adames got him. He was the guy who got him.
He was locked in last night.
He threw him a 3-2 pitch. Said, "Okay, if you get this, you get this," and he doubled. Jung-Hoo Lee just kind of stuck his bat out. Could have been a looping liner. Just fell in for the RBI, but. 9 strikeouts, 5 1/3 innings. He was once again ace-like for the San Diego Padres, and he has really been the pickup of the offseason.
Correct.
Just completely different starting rotation with Nick Pivetta versus what the Padres thought they had going into spring training. If you just had Randy Vasquez and Kyle Hart and Omar Cruz as your 3, 4, 5, as opposed to Nick Pivetta, Randy Vasquez,
Johnny
and
Brito working his way in there somehow.
And, now Kyle Hart, they can skip him over a little bit. It's a huge difference maker. And now that we're over a full month into the season, to have 5 pitchers come into the game that now have ERAs of 1.78, 1.88, 1.84, 0.56, and 0.69. You don't see that very often from all those guys on a staff. And guess what? Padres have a few more they could bring in.
They really do.
With low ERAs as well that were not used in the game. That is how good the Padres pitching has been so far this year. And they needed it because the Giants just based on my now initial impression, are a good team.
They are.
They're a dangerous team. I don't think they've even hit their full potential. You know, Adames kind of has gotten off to a
Very slow start.
He heats up. You know, Chapman heats up a little bit. Neither of those guys have really done a ton for the Giants so far. They could definitely be a team that sticks around throughout the summer. Are they perfect? No, but I think they have enough to contend for a playoff spot at the end of the year.
They have a really annoying lineup, guys that can beat you, and you know, you saw a little bit of that last year. There's no quit in them. Certainly, they're not going to roll
it's like a
over.
lineup full of jerks and profars.
Yeah, pretty much, man.
Irritants.
You're just they just kind of bug you, and I know Nicky P was irritated last night. Which, you know, let's couch that because he's always kind of irritated.
Nicky P, huh?
But we all saw what happened in the fifth inning. We saw Andrew Bailey, catcher. No, we saw Patrick Bailey, catcher, leading off second base. And Ruben notices something, comes out, talks to Nicky P. And
it's an odd time to come out.
Very odd time.
It was 2 strikes, 2 outs. He wasn't in any, you know, like trouble or, you know, ailing, it looked like in any way. It was a very odd time for the pitching coach to make a visit to the mound.
Yeah. And so basically what he was telling him was something to the effect of, hey, they can see the grip in your hands, or Bailey's giving location. There's something amiss. They've got something on you.
They're seeing your pitch comm buttons,
something,
anything like that.
It could be. And, you know, Nicky P nods, next pitch, freezes. Yastrzemski, heater, right down the middle. Almost like he was looking for something else. I mean, it's frozen. 2 strikes, it's ball's right down the middle. That's a ball to hammer, and he didn't even offer. And next thing you know, Nicky P kind of bounces off the mound, turns around, starts screaming and barking at Patrick Bailey, and nothing happened. You know, after that, there were no benches clearing or anything like that. But you've seen a little bit of this in baseball now. With the advent of pitch comm, you're not going to be able to steal teams' pitches per se, but if you can look in from second base and go, yeah, that's a 2-seamer that he is holding. I know it when I see it, and
right, he's setting up on the outside of the plate.
Yeah, and I can tip my hitter as to where he is. Now, again, I think all baseball players agree universally. Hey, man, if somebody's going to show you something, you are well within your rights to take it. But pitchers do take exception to that. We saw Jose Barrios take great exception to Cal Raleigh potentially doing the same thing a couple of weeks ago. Pitchers don't like it, and you know, you may wear one the next time you bat.
Do we have the audio from Nick Pivetta after the game? He was talking. I think Kevin Acee asked him about what happened in that incident in the 5th inning. Paulie,
what were the Giants doing there in the 5th? When you were a little agitated, Ruben came out in the middle of a count.
Oh, you're talking. Yeah, I think I was probably tipping my pitches, so I had to probably switch that up. I don't know if I was or not, but that's part of the game, and I just was able to make my pitches.
All right, pretty simple answer.
He downplayed it. He just downplayed it because he certainly didn't act like ho ho hum. No big deal. He was pretty pissed.
I saw, you know, in our chat and on social media last night. Does Patrick Bailey need to wear one? Is there some sort of retaliation necessary? And I don't really think so. I don't think Patrick Bailey did anything wrong. That's part of the chess game of baseball.
No question.
And the Padres, you know, it's your job, especially the coaches, to notice if something's going on, catch it, and then perhaps turn it on its ear. I mean, is it possible that, you know, Ruben said, all right, we're going to go out. You're going to throw a fastball on the outside corner, but hit the button for curveball on your belt, or show him a curveball grip here, and then throw the fastball, and perhaps we will have, at least for one pitch, an edge here when they incorrectly identify what's coming. It's possible something like that occurred, or maybe Ruben just said, hey, hide your glove a little bit better. We think they're looking in or something. You don't know exactly what was said.
It's a weird situation because it's totally within the rules. It is not cheating.
Correct.
And every player in Major League Baseball will tell you that, including the pitchers. Yet the pitchers get so mad about it, and I understand why they're mad. But it's also like, hey, they're not cheating. Like,
they're not cheating. They're not banging a trash can.
Stop doing what you're doing.
Yeah. I love it. I love that stuff. I love Chippy. I love Chippy, and Nicky P. He's about as chippy as it gets.
So Jesse and Tony also discussed that play, and during that discussion, happened to get to our incorporator. So we will play that for you when we come back with Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So before the game yesterday, Mike Shildt went to bat for Xander Bogaerts. Good timing, I guess, for Mike Shildt, who brought up, I must say, I love projected stats as much as anyone, but you heard Shildt go with he's on pace for 40 doubles this year. I mean, 40 doubles is a great season for Xander Bogaerts. I don't think anyone really can realistically argue that Xander Bogaerts has gotten off to a really good start this season. Even Xander would, I think, in an honest moment, say, yeah, he's disappointed with his start. Now, mathematically,
some promising moments, I think.
Yeah,
so
and he does
balls
have
hard early.
Does have some doubles, and if he gets 40 doubles, certainly 40 doubles is great. But most people who have 40 doubles in a season also hit 15, 20 homers to make it a truly great season. I think the fact that Xander had not hit a home run all year long was pretty concerning. After a whole month of not getting one. Now, is yesterday a turning point in the season for Xander Bogaerts? I'm not going to go there yet. He came through, connected with the barrel.
Times, yeah.
As Mud likes to say, had his bat sped up a little bit on an off-speed pitch, hit it 350 feet. It's not always going to go out of the yard when you hit one 350 feet, but put it in the right spot and certainly needed it yesterday. And hopefully it's the start of a nice run for Xander, who has had plenty of them since he's been a member of the San Diego Padres. They just tend to, not be long enough. And he's had longer stretches where he struggled during his 2.5-year tenure here.
Yeah. It's a cruel business in that, you got to do it again today. You got to come through, and you got to come through again in Pittsburgh. And then guess what? You got to come through again in New York. And then you got to come through again in Colorado. And that's the nature of the business. That's why you make $25 million plus per year, because you have to produce. It's never personal. I think there are guys that you look at, and we haven't talked about it yet, but with the guys coming back yesterday, Yuli Gurriel's been DFA'd, and I think you don't want to cheer somebody losing their job, right, at the end of the day. But Yuli Gurriel's had a nice long career. He's going to make $1 million for the rest of this season to do nothing. I don't know that he's going to get another opportunity in baseball. I don't know that I don't know that it was a great fit from the get-go, but it is what it is. He's no longer going to be here. And I think with a case like that, Benny, that was a guy I was not super bummed to see him off the San Diego Padres. I didn't like the signing from the get-go. I don't know anybody really that did. I didn't like the Yu Darvish connection. That was really, really weird and had to be kind of smoothed over. And so, hey, man, at this point, good luck to you. And, we'll see what else we have coming up the pike with guys getting healthy. Just you can't have a DH hitting 111. You just can't. It doesn't work. So he's out. And then they moved McCoy to the IL yesterday with 4 jammed fingers or whatever. So Mason McCoy gets a nice little MLB DL or IL stint. So.
The Padres a little thin, though, now in the middle infield depth, while Mason McCoy is on the injured list. It's pretty much Jose Iglesias and Xander Bogaerts right now.
Yeah, Tyler Wade can fill in.
But he needs to be playing center right now until Jackson Merrill comes back. Maybe Jackson is back as soon as Friday.
Jackson was he was playing defense yesterday. So, again, these are really, really good signs.
In a pinch, if you have to move Wade, you can move Hayward over to center.
Move Hayward to center and Gonzalez or Tirso
play in the corner as well.
For sure. I think again, it's kind of that weird addition by subtraction thing. I mean, Yuli was as big of a black hole in this lineup that we've had in a long, long time. He was
one of those guys who was a spring mirage. He had 315 with a home run, looked pretty decent during spring training. And it's hard to say just goodbye to a guy like that. Once you made the decision to bring him in on a minor league.
Is it?
No. I mean, at the end of spring training.
Oh, yeah.
You brought him in on a minor league deal and say, hey, see if you got anything. And then he goes, okay, I'll hit 320 in spring with a home run, and I'll look pretty good. And, the right thing to do at that point probably would have been to still say, you're 40. You haven't done it in a couple of years. I don't really believe in those numbers. Those are Cactus League numbers. Probably should have just said goodbye then, saved yourself $1 million and had an extra roster spot. You could have lost Tyler Wade by keeping Yuli Gurriel.
You really could have.
You luckily you were able to keep him because he stayed in the organization and was not claimed. Then the season starts and Yuli Gurriel does what he had really done the last couple of years. Didn't hit against major league pitching on the big league level. And you had to make the decision, I think a fairly easy decision at this point, to let him go. And I don't think you're going to regret that in the end.
I don't think so either. I don't think somebody's picking him up and he's going to go on a tear. If he does, I tip my hat, man. Good for you. But it just didn't make any sense.
So yesterday was our Incorporator Tuesday. Had Jesse Agler on at 8:35. We had a word for him, and then Paulie realized we did that word back in 2022. It was syzygy.
Syzygy.
So we had to make a last-minute switch. Woodsy found a pretty fun one. Here's the conversation with Jesse yesterday. All right, Woods had to come up with a quick backup to syzygy since we had already used it. So hopefully this is a unique Incorporator word for you. Woods, what do we find?
Ken Speckle.
Ken Speckle.
Ken, like Kenneth. Ken
Speckle.
It's one word. Ken Speckle. It's an adjective and it means conspicuous. And here's I'll use it in a sentence.
Easily recognizable.
Yeah. With its towering spires piercing the sky, the Ken Speckle landmark could be seen from miles away.
All right, so Ken Speckle was the word. Now, I'm assuming because, as Paulie mentioned, this was during a discussion of the Nick Pivetta, Patrick Bailey sign, either stealing or tipping conversation. This happened in the 6th inning right after it?
Bottom of the 5th.
Bottom of the 5th, right after the top of the 5th. Correct.
And so we go to the bottom of the 5th, and they were talking about what all happened there at the end of that inning.
Ground ball to the right side. Wade handles the big hop. Underhand flip to Webb just in time to get Sheets. And 1 out in the bottom of the 5th inning. And the Giants catcher, Patrick Bailey, was on second base, and it appeared perhaps he was trying to communicate something to his hitter.
And we couldn't figure out what the agitation was all about as it pertained to Pivetta, but after the 2-2 pitch, he came in, he struck Yastrzemski out looking, and he immediately turned to second base where Bailey was, almost kind of talking to him a little bit. That to me is a sign that he may have thought that Bailey was trying to relay signs.
Bogaerts lines one to first, caught by Wade. A short out, number 2 here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And it was kind of a Ken Speckle display by Patrick Bailey. You got to be a little bit more subtle about that, I think, if you're going to do it and not draw the ire of the other team.
I love that so much because that right there tells you that Jesse doesn't just spend a couple of hours during his morning figuring out how he's going to work it in. There was no way of knowing that anything like that situation is going to happen in that game.
Yeah, I loved it.
And he just says, oh, this is a good opportunity.
That was true incorporating.
Yes.
There.
Yeah, incorporated.
That was true incorporation of a word in a way that we think at least made sense. Not that any of us uses Ken Speckle in normal conversation.
I
but
will now.
He actually incorporated a correct usage.
Yeah, it was kind of a Ken Speckle display by Patrick Bailey.
It's amazing. It's funny, man. My 7-year-old asked me, we're sitting on the couch the other day watching baseball, and he said, Dad, does sticky stuff really work? Like you hear about, because he always sees them check. What are they looking for? Oh, they're looking for sticky stuff on your hands for pitchers. He goes, does that work? I go, oh, yeah. And he goes, how does it work? And I said, well, it helps increase. If you're spinning the ball, you get a better grip on it. You can spin it more. And he goes, how do hitters cheat? And I go, other than like PEDs and stuff, I said, maybe you could, this is 3 days ago, right? This is during the weekend. And I said, maybe you could steal the signs of the catcher. And I kind of went through how in he's going to be playing, big kid pitch here pretty soon. And I said, if you're on second base, Bo, and the kid behind the plate is just throwing down a 1 and you see the guy throw a fastball, you're well within your rights to let your teammates know fastball is coming without being an idiot about it, right? Without holding up a big number 1, without fastball, like whatever. I said, but if they're not going to hide it, take it. And if you're on first base and you can see the catcher signs, you see him throw down a 2. That's a good pitch to steal on. It's a breaking ball. Gives you a little bit of extra time. Maybe the catcher's going to box it, whatever. And I said, you're well within your rights there. I said, that's not cheating. I said, the one way that hitters can cheat too is, I said, don't be this kid that walks up and starts looking back at the catcher to see if he can pick up the signs. I said, that's pretty lame, and that'll get you dotted. You will get dotted for that in a heartbeat. And I will defend the pitcher if my son's up there looking back between the catcher's legs. I said, but yeah, it's much harder for hitters. It really is. Like, So take every advantage and every edge you can get. I mean, he's 7 and he's so fascinated by this stuff.
You can cork your bat.
Not a metal. You would never want to cork a metal bat.
That's a good point.
I don't think.
But on the big league level, that would be a way that hitters cheat.
Yeah.
In the game.
Yep.
Torpedo bats are a little more of the
those are legal.
They're legal. They've been ruled legal, so that's not cheating.
Yeah, it was interesting that this all happened last night after the convo that we've had. And man, I think a couple things can be true. Patrick Bailey needs to be, look what you've done to me. Patrick Bailey needs to be a little bit more Patrick needs to be a little more subtle about it. Just like tapping the top of his head, pulling his shirt, leaning, like be a little more covert. And then you can fastball. And then you can then you can keep it going. If you're just banging your head, you know what I mean?
Whatever he did tipped off the Padres.
Correct.
That he was doing something.
Correct.
So it's that cat and mouse game part of baseball.
It behooves you, if you feel like you have something, to not make any wild gesticulations about what you have. You never want to let them know their tell. And boy, he was, for a catcher, he was pretty loud about it, I thought. And
did you see what he was doing?
Yeah, somebody slowed it down and showed a couple videos. I mean, he's like tapping his hat, pulling on his shirt. So I told Bo, I go, you talk to your friends before the game and you guys decide if they're giving it away. I don't know, lift your pant leg, do something, lean one way, kind of slight, grab your nose, whatever it may be. I said, there's nothing wrong with that, and you shouldn't get you in any trouble. It was pretty fascinating, though. Yeah, the arm swing. They did the arm swing one way. That's what Cal Raleigh was doing. If he swung his arm, it was a breaking ball. If he leaned, it was a fastball. Here's the other thing. And
do you think they plan that out before games?
No,
Is
I
there
think
always a standard, or
no, I think it happens
once you catch it.
Once you catch something,
you tell the guy behind you, if I'm on second, here's what I'm going to do.
I told you, man. I caught a tell for the first time in my life like 3 weeks ago. Literally the first time I've ever seen one, and a guy would shimmy his glove when he threw a fastball, and he wouldn't when he threw a splitter. And he's not a nasty splitter. And once he shimmied, we saw fastball and we hit him. Now we lost again because that's what we do, because you can't cheat on defense. But picked one up for the first time in my life, Ben. I've been playing baseball my whole life. I go, oh my God, I think I picked up a tell, and it worked. But yeah, these are the things. They have to be so careful, and every team is so paranoid about this stuff too, man. So it was, but it was interesting, and I think Nick Pivetta knows, hey man, that's on me, but I just didn't like how blatant he was being about it out at second.
All right, we're going to get to Don't Do This coming up next. We'll pause a little bit of the baseball talk for a moment, because there was an incident in one of the NBA playoff games involving a star player, a last-second basket, and his dad then going and accosting one of the NBA's biggest stars on the court.
This could have been a really, really ugly scene. Worse than it was.
Honestly, it probably should have been. I mean, it was pretty egregious.
And we will get to that coming up next after a check of traffic with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. And speaking of the basketball playoffs, the playoff season is a fantastic time to cash in with Prize Picks. Join over 10 million members across the country after Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to everyone. All you do, pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. You can put basketball players more or less on points or assists and rebounds. Combine them with your baseball players that you're watching every single night, even hockey playoffs and more. Many sports, tons of lineup projections that are available for you every single day. Get a hunch, put together a lineup, win real money with Prize Picks. I've been doing it for the last year, do a ton during baseball season, obviously, but play however you want. It's very easy to download the app. You just go to their website, prizepicks.com, use the code KWFN. You're going to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. That gives you kind of a chance to settle in, figure out, how you like to play, when you like to play. You just use KWFN as the code to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Get payouts really quickly within 15 minutes. Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard. Very simple to deposit and withdraw for your funds to play on Prize Picks, where you can run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for details.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
And Will,
don't
leave your entire estate, house, kids, and life savings up to chance if and when you die.
Do
set up a Trust or Will online at trustandwill.com. This is a lot more affordable than you think. Visit trustandwill.com for more info. All right, we will start in basketball, Woods, where the Milwaukee Bucks suffered just a horrific loss to end their season. They were up 7 points with less than 40 seconds remaining in overtime.
Yep.
And they found a way to lose to the Indiana Pacers. And Tyrese Halliburton, who came up with a three-point play and then a lay-in with less than a second left.
Yeah, 1.3 seconds.
Yeah, one second left to beat the Bucks and end their season in heartbreaking fashion, despite 30 points, 20 boards, and 13 assists for Giannis Antetokounmpo.
I saw the first thing I saw was Giannis with his head leaning against another, looked like an older man's head. It was like forehead to forehead, but he's leaning down like 2 feet because the guy's much shorter than Giannis. Giannis is a beast. And I said, what the hell is this? Is he getting into it with a fan? And then they had some different angles where it kind of zoomed out, and you saw right after the bucket, the Pacers are celebrating. They're jumping on the scorer's table. They won. They've sent the Bucks home. This is huge. They're advancing. There was a guy standing in front of Giannis about 4 feet in front of him holding a towel. And that's all you saw. And you saw Giannis sitting there staring at him like, what is happening right now?
Like a bullfighter.
Like a bullfighter, like a matador.
Yeah, like a matador.
And he's holding it, and Giannis sits there, and he's just staring at it. And then some people, it got pretty spicy after. A lot of pushing and shoving, a lot of celebrating, a lot of Bucks players getting upset. And then you see Giannis in this guy's face, and they are going at it. They're just, barking at each other. So come to find out, it wasn't a fan. It was Tyrese Halliburton's father, who had walked out on the court, held that towel up is John Halliburton's his name, held that towel up to Giannis. And I said, oh my God, the guy's dad. It's the guy, it's Little League dad gone wrong. Like gone horribly wrong. But Giannis did a pretty decent job at controlling himself in that very, very tenuous moment. But they asked Tyrese about it after the game, and here's what he said.
I think he just needs to just allow me to just play basketball, stay over there. I'll come to him to celebrate. But I think it's the emotions of the game just got excited there. But I talked with him. I'll talk with Giannis eventually about it. Just, I don't think that my pops was in the right at all there. And unfortunate, what happened in the end there. But, I mean, this series was a lot of war of words, a lot of war of antics, a lot of stuff going back and forth. And that's just part of, this rivalry and what we've built here over the last couple of years. And, it's unfortunate what happened there, but I think it's just competition. And as far as my pops, again, I don't agree what happened there. We'll have a conversation. Everybody's grown men, and we'll just go from there.
Roles were reversed because after that conversation, Dad, John Halliburton, Papa Halliburton on Twitter, tweeted out his apology. I sincerely apologize to Giannis, the Milwaukee Bucks Pacers organization, for my actions following tonight's game. This was not a good reflection on our sport or my son, and I will not make that mistake again.
Man, dude. Yeah, Pops, I would say caught up is probably the right word. Got caught up in the emotions. He's proud of his son, dropped the game winner. It's a good feeling. Maybe you celebrate privately and not get in the face of the gentle giant.
I guess I don't know if it's right to assume or not, but you assume Giannis may have known that was his dad. Like they've seen him.
He said at first he thought it was a fan. He said, and then he realized, oh, that's John Halliburton.
I mean, bro, that looked like Malice at the Palace, like how it started.
You're absolutely right. It could have absolutely spiraled.
Let's be honest. Even though he's his dad, he's a fan. He is not an employee of the team. He is not on the payroll. He's a fan.
He's a fan.
And if you see a fan on the court, anybody got a problem if it got
Giannis
physical?
Drops the guy? Oh, my God.
Dude, he's lucky he didn't get his ass kicked.
He really is. He really is.
Taking some slings for how I pronounced Tenecampo.
You're having a rough day.
I don't know. I mean, I've never really figured out.
Antetokounmpo, isn't it?
Antetokounmpo.
Look it up, Paul.
I've never totally understood.
Just call him Giannis. Everybody just calls him Giannis.
I know, but you really, you can't just.
How many Giannis's do you know?
Name.
How many? If I said Giannis, you know who I'm talking about?
I do.
Like he's not like a world famous. All right, here we go.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Kumpo. What'd you say?
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Kumpo.
Yeah, Kumpo. All right, relax, everybody.
What's his dad's name? John
Halliburton.
All right, 100 John Halliburtons versus one Giannis Antetokounmpo. Who wins?
Oh, that dumb bit. Go ahead, Benny.
All right. I'll be accused a little bit of Laker loving, but I saw this story yesterday. And, in LA, there's a lot of street art murals dedicated to Kobe Bryant and Kobe and Gigi Bryant, including one that was vandalized recently. So it's pretty much understood in LA. Yeah, graffiti is going to happen and things get covered up all the time. But you don't mess with the Kobe murals once they're up. But one of these murals that had been up got tagged by a couple of street artists who were, I don't know, they had a beef with each other. One of them wrote over the Kobe mural, "Keep running your mouth, P word." And then the other one came back and said, "Leave a name, P word, don't be scared."
Different P word.
So I know, just people were upset.
Keep running your mouth, pal.
Yeah. So people were upset that, a Kobe and Gigi mural got defaced. The nice ending to the story, though, they were starting a GoFundMe to try to get it restored back to its original status. And Luka Doncic stepped in and funded the entire thing, over $5,000 to make sure that they could fix that mural up nicely. But it's just don't touch the Kobe murals. They say. Yeah,
there's I guess some things are sacred, right?
Yeah.
And
their season could end tonight. The Lakers,
God willing. Yeah,
I know.
God willing.
Probably will.
Kings are one loss away from dropping their series as well.
Could be rough times.
Could it be a tough year in LA sports? 2025, the year of disappointment in Los Angeles.
I hope so.
The Dodgers are they're still. I mean, they're in first place.
Yeah,
but they certainly have had some rough injury news in their pitching staff.
They have
first month of the season.
They have it may we'll see. It's a long season. They're a seasoned team. They know how to win. Just won a World Series, so. We'll see how that shakes out. But, yeah, Lakers and Kings on the verge at this point. I will wrap us up with do this.
DD mega doo-doo.
I thought it was Photoshop. I thought it was AI. I thought it was altered. There was a play that happened last night in Major League Baseball. The Red Sox were in Toronto taking on the Blue Jays. Red Sox are rolling right along 7-2 in the fourth inning, and Jarren Duran, who had already hit a homer, hits a missile to dead center field. Now, Dalton Varsho is out there. Dalton Varsho is a Gold Glove winner, but Dalton Varsho was up against it. There's no way he makes this catch because as he ran back to the warning track, he slipped and fell. And his
kind of started turning maybe the wrong way and then tried to correct himself and just went down in a heap.
He went down in a heap. And the problem is he wasn't falling backwards with the ball coming toward him. He was falling toward the wall, and the ball is still careening over his head. Somehow, this man figures out a way to do like an army military roll, get up on his knees, glance back over his left shoulder at the time where the ball is bearing down on him and sticks his glove out and makes the catch. It honestly was – I'm trying to think. Gary Matthews Jr. catch was better.
Jim Edmonds
is really good. This was so – and now he put himself in that bad position by tripping and falling. It wasn't like he – but it was a spectacular catch. Paulie, do you have the call?
Here's what it sounded like on the Blue Jays.
Oh, my God. I couldn't believe this thing.
1-0. Swing and a deep drive center field. Going back, Varsho slips on the warning track and makes the catch. Good Lord, Dalton Varsho somersaulted onto the track, turned around, and backhanded it to take extra bases away from Jarren Duran.
I have never seen that before in my entire life. How do you even describe that catch?
It's so hard.
Cow. Dalton Varsho tripped on his feet, rolled over on the warning track, had to look behind him over his left shoulder to make the play. You may watch baseball for the next 50 years and never see that again.
Wow. I couldn't believe it. The pitcher just was like, what?
It's like, he goes wide. I'm like, whoa!
Dude, he looks like he saw a ghost. It was so incredible. How do you do it? It's just the concentration.
I'm
of
sure
these guys
Duran was thinking, really?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Are
I
you kidding
smoked
me?
That one. Manny had one. The play wasn't nearly as good, but Manny absolutely smoked one.
Ramos
yesterday, and Elliot Ramos just stuck his arm up. I thought that was going over his head.
I did too. I did too.
Manny had a good game though.
He did.
Had a couple of hits and an RBI, a run scored.
Hit the
He's
ball
still
hard.
hitting the ball hard.
Getting unlucky a little bit.
Stuck on the 2 home runs, but otherwise, I'm not really worried about Manny Machado.
Same.
And that is don't and do this for a Wednesday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
I mentioned it at the top of the show. Why don't we give away the boxing tickets right now? Call now for your chance to win 2 tickets to Top Rank Boxing presents Navarrete versus Suarez at Pechanga Arena on May 10th. Fourth caller is going to win at 833-288-0973. 3-time division champ Emmanuel Vaquero Navarrete defends his world title against unbeaten Filipino warrior Charlie Suarez Saturday, May 10th at Pechanga Arena here in San Diego. The co-main, Southern California's own Raymond Muratalla battling Zaur Abdulayev for the interim lightweight crown. Night of world-class action. You don't want to miss Saturday, May 10th at Pechanga Arena. Tickets are on sale now at AXS.com. Paulie's taking the winner right now at 833-288-0973. Lots to get to still. Big League Wednesday. We got Brett Boone in our final hour. Talk about the rest of the NL West and baseball coming up as well from yesterday. That is all ahead on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
You know, it's funny. Last time I was at QC Kinetics, was talking to the general manager there, and he said they got a lot of MMA guys, a lot of boxers that do come in. Now, it's not just for the elite athletes, right? It's for people like you, people like me. I'm very far from an elite athlete, but was really struggling every single day. Didn't know what was going on with my wrists. QC Kinetics, honestly, I was skeptical. And I went in and I said, man, I sure hope this works. And boy, did it ever. My wrists are stronger than they've ever been. And I've not had any sort of issues since. That's the most important thing for me. And I've increased doing all of the things like I was doing before. I'm lifting weights a couple times a week, heavier weights than I've ever lifted. I mean, it really has been a godsend for me and my family, to be honest with you. So I can pick up my kids, I could coach Little League, play golf, whatever. Now I'm living pain-free. So if you've got pain in your knees, your back, your shoulders, whatever it may be, your hips, give them a call today at 619-614-PAIN. QC Kinetics can change your life. With QC Kinetics, there's no drugs, no surgery, there's no downtime, all natural cellular level option with lasting relief, and the patient satisfaction reports are astonishing. Do all the things you want to do this summer with QC Kinetics. Stop being slowed down by awful joint pain in your knees or your back. So call them today, free consultation for you. Learn about how these cutting-edge treatments can help you live your best life today. 619-614-PAIN. It's QC Kinetics at 619-614-PAIN.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
This segment of Bennett Woods is brought to you by Robert Half. At Robert Half, they found that 67% of companies want to increase contract talent. That's why the recruiter's expertise in award-winning AI work quickly to find the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, they know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today. The Mets are a very talented team. They have the best record in all of baseball after another win yesterday, Woods. They beat the Arizona Diamondbacks. 8-3, I believe, was the final score. Francisco Lindor hitting his 6th home run of the season. We talked about the Dalton Varsho catch, which was the most spectacular one of the day. They had the best defensive inning I think I've ever seen, with a hot shot that ricocheted off the third baseman's glove to Lindor, who then made a perfect throw to first, a diving catch in the gap by who is it? Tyrone Taylor, their center fielder, and then Lindor made a incredible one shot rocket scoop and then throw to get the third out of the inning. The Diamondbacks are going, we can't hit the ball any harder and make 3 consecutive outs like they did in that game yesterday. So the Mets got an 8-3 win over the Arizona Diamondbacks, who are not having a bad start to the season. I think they're like a game above 500, but they're looking up at the standings at the Dodgers, the Padres, and the Giants, who have all gotten off to hot starts and know, all right, we've got some work to do to catch up in this division. The NL West has been very tough so far this year.
Yeah, it's weird because it's still April, and I saw the Mets winning, and I go, good. Let's just we got to beat those teams in our division, and it's nice when other teams handle business. I was not expecting at all the Miami Marlins to even give the Dodgers fits. They did play them pretty tough the night before last, but last night was a blowout. Dodgers ended up winning that game pretty easily, 15-2.
They were up so much they threw in Kike Hernandez to pitch again in a win. You know you've got a big lead when you can go with position players when you're winning.
Yeah, pretty interesting scene, though, coming out of Miami right now, and it's Sandy Alcantara. He got the start yesterday. It's his 6th start since coming back from Tommy John. He got tagged by the Dodgers, 7 runs on 7 hits, couldn't get out of the 3rd. He walked 5. His ERA is now 8.31. Here's the thing, though. I saw people tweeting yesterday, oh, good, his value is going down. It's not. His value is not going down. The guy is one of the most, has some of the most elite stuff in Major League Baseball. It could be mechanical. It could be it's my 6th start after major surgery, so I'm just trying to find my way. But believe you me, if AJ Preller called what's that weird guy's name that works there?
Peter Bendix.
Is that his name? Yeah, Peter Bendix. He calls Peter Bendix today and says, hey, you probably want to get rid of Sandy in that big contract pretty soon. He's still going to ask for the moon, and he's still probably going to get it.
People sometimes are under the mistaken belief that a player's value is directly correlated to their performance or their stats.
Correct.
And that's not really the case. Sometimes indirectly, obviously, it is, but a player's value in terms of a trade is only directly correlated to how much interest other teams have in acquiring said player.
And I bet he fields calls about him every day.
And
despite that
every
831,
single playoff contender would be interested in Sandy Alcantara,
including the team he played against last night.
Right.
You know, who honestly could pull off a deal for Sandy today with what they have.
So if Peter Bendix wanted to trade him and was doing his job correctly, he could call a bunch of teams and go, okay, well, they're offering this, so you've got to offer this, and then call another team. Well, they've just offered this, so he could get the value up extremely high despite any early season struggles, because every other team is also going to think, all right, he's coming off Tommy John surgery. He's not locked in yet, but give him another month or so. He'll be locked in. We'd be more than happy to have him as part of our starting rotation. You're not getting a deal on Sandy Alcantara.
Another one of those guys that you could have mentioned in that same breath is Jacob deGrom, who seemingly can never stay healthy, but he struck out 7 over 6 scoreless, picked up his first win in more than 2 years. Hasn't really hampered Jacob deGrom's salary, right? Like, he still gets paid a lot of money, even though he's oft injured. Tyler Glass now. I mean, there's all kinds of these guys like this because the potential when they are healthy is ace. It's Bob Gibson. You know what I mean? It's like through the roof with deGrom, Glass
I do
now.
think, Alcantara is still on a reasonable contract.
I think so.
I think there would be a little more hesitancy with deGrom just because of the injury history and the salary that goes with Jacob deGrom.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying there wouldn't be interest. There still would be, but there would definitely be less competition, I think, for Jacob deGrom's services than Sandy Alcantara's.
So they signed him to an extension, 5 years, $56 million, and it's supposed to expire
He's got one more
club
year
option
after.
in 27. Yeah. So I think he makes like $17 million a year, something like that, which for Sandy Alcantara, if you could get him and I don't know, introduce him to a really, really good pitching coach, like Ruben Niebla. Yeah, of course you're going to let yourself dream on that, acquiring a guy.
Meanwhile,
like that.
Jacob deGrom's making $40 million this
40.
year. And while he's very good, I think you'd worry if you traded for Jacob deGrom. That 1 week later he's going to hit the injured list, and now you're just on the hook for $40 million,
right? And
you're not having anyone pitch for you.
That's exactly right.
So, the value I would say of Alcantara is much higher than that of Jacob deGrom. Elsewhere in baseball yesterday, let's see. The Kyle Higashioka continues to play pretty well. I think if there's one, again, disappointment, the Padres in the offseason weren't able to keep him. 5th home run of the year, 3 runs batted in. Rangers beat the A's 15-2. And the Yankees also scored 15 runs, doing something that no team in baseball has ever done, Woods. For the second time this year, they opened the game with 3 straight home runs, back-to-back
Trent Grisham
home runs. Trent Grisham, number 8, which would be the tied for the lead on the San Diego Padres right now with Fernando Tatis Jr., Judge, and their new power hitter, Ben Rice, actually had 2 home runs, including the third of the back-to-back-to-back, which they did 1 month ago against the Brewers and Nestor Cortez. And then yesterday they did it again on the 29th of the month for the second time this year.
At some point, I would be really fascinated to go down the Baltimore Orioles rabbit hole because I follow enough Orioles people and insiders. They fascinate me because they were looked at by a lot of people in San Diego. A lot of fans said, man, you got to do it like Baltimore's doing it. You have to do it like Baltimore's doing it. They're locking up their young talent. Look at them, playoff team. Well, they've made the playoffs twice. They haven't won a game yet. They traded some capital. They got Corbin Burns. They didn't re-sign him. Not that Corbin's off to the hottest start, but it feels like right now their window that was supposed to be a decade long is like slamming shut. What they've done is so fascinating to me in baseball. And it just goes to show you, like, everybody thinks they know the right way to build a team. It takes an incredible amount of luck. So many things have to go your way.
Now,
so many.
They didn't invest in keeping
in Burns,
in Corbin Burns,
and
certainly their pitching has been pretty bad this year,
very bad.
Their run differential is actually only the Rockies are worse than the Baltimore Orioles in run differential.
And they were supposed to be good. They were supposed to be good for a long, long time. They've got some of the most exciting young players in baseball, in Adley, in Gunnar, in Jackson Holiday. What has happened in Baltimore?
Well,
I think it's riveting, man.
We saw this a few years ago. Who was supposed to be one of the most exciting when the Padres signed Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr., everyone was looking at the American League as the White Sox as the equivalent, the team with exciting young stars that was about to take the leap to the next level.
Like they were supposed to be World Series contenders in like 22 and beyond.
And instead of taking the leap, they went the other direction and became the worst team in baseball. And now it's looking like the Orioles, who got a little closer to the brass ring with a couple of playoff appearances, they look like they're heading the other way. Now, there's still time for them to turn it around this year. They do have enough good players that I can't imagine that they're going to continue to play this poorly all season long. But at some point, you get so deep in that there's just no fixing it.
There was a pretty staunch refusal to trade prospect capital for starting pitching. They've held on to they pissed off a lot of their top prospects because they feel like they should be in the big leagues right now. They've got a glut of outfielders and it's just an interesting thing because people were earmarking them to win a couple of World Series in the next 5 to 10 years. And look, they still very well may. The beauty of life is you can change your path at any second. Their owners could get in a room and go, hey, we are losing this fan base. So come the deadline, let's go get 1, 2, 3 starters and let's do a little bit of gutting of this farm system. We have faith that we can bring in the next Adleys and the next Gunners and the next Jackson Holidays at some point. But man, at some point you got to figure it out. Like that window that was supposed to be 10 years long, it looks like it's slamming shut and they're panicked in Baltimore. And I think the downfall of it is pretty fascinating. And again, I know it's early, but when you look at the guys that they're running out there on a nightly basis, it's ugly. It's as ugly as it gets.
Bill says in the chat, new owners screwing the team up. He is cheap. Weren't they like begging?
They
celebrated him like he was Jesus Christ coming down to save their franchise.
They did.
Like they were going to spend more money. They haven't really done it yet. So, we'll see. Congratulations to Keegan in our chat. Won those boxing tickets.
Nice.
In our last segment. I love when one of the Tier 1 Gold members wins, and it's not rigged. Paulie's just taking the random callers, but congratulations, Keegan, for calling in.
His name's not actually Keegan.
It's
so
not.
That's why he had to say, I'm Keegan in the chat.
Caesar. Congratulations. We're going to check traffic. I'll go through the rest of the games in Major League Baseball and a little shout out to his family on the baseball level as well.
It's an interesting one.
Next on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Just a few things to mention here. Traffic at a crawl out of Santee, westbound 52, more so than usual, all due to this earlier crash at Mask Boulevard. Northbound 15 before Balboa, we have reports of a stalled car in the Center Divide. Also traveling on southbound 15 in the North County, just past the 76, got a collision involving car and a van. It's in the Center Divide. Looks like that is in the clearing stage. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Good teams in the National League. Cubs continue to roll. They blanked the Pirates 9-0. Padres are headed to Pittsburgh this weekend for 3 games. Shota Imanaga with 5 shutout innings for the Cubs in that one. Phillies and Nationals played a pretty wild one. It was a pitcher's duel for most of the game, Mackenzie Gore and Zach Wheeler. But then in the 9th inning, with the Phillies up 5-2, the Nationals scored 4 in the top of the 9th, including a 3-run home run.
Man,
with 2 outs in the 9th to take a 6-5 lead. But in the bottom of the 9th, the Phillies scored 2, including a walk-off wild pitch to win it 7-6 and pull out the victory yesterday at Citizens Bank Park. The Rockies are just as bad as can be. They're now 4-25 after they lost to the Braves 8-2. Angels, their good start was a mirage. Apparently, they lost their 4th straight 5-3 to the Seattle Mariners. Brewers over the White Sox 7-2. Astros beat the Tigers 6-4. Royals topped the Rays 3-1, and the Guardians were 2-1 winners over the Minnesota Twins. Also had a rainout in Cincinnati yesterday, doubleheader scheduled for today between the Cardinals and the Reds. All right, I started with the Mets, and it was actually the Mets who announced the sad passing of one of their biggest fans, super fan. They posted on X yesterday that we are saddened to learn of the passing of Seymour Weiner. Seymour Weiner, which is his actual name, was a World War II veteran who lived to the age of 98 and became kind of this guy that the Mets rallied around as one of their super fans.
I wonder why.
And he actually did not mind the fact that they poked a little bit of fun at his name.
He didn't realize it till last year.
Yeah, he said he didn't really know. And then, once he became kind of a Mets super fan and they got to know that is actually how it's pronounced. It's not like Weiner. It's Seymour Weiner. They did a $1 hot dog night where they used him to promote it with the New York Mets. Everybody loves a wiener, and they had Seymour Weiner's face as the face of the hot dog night $1 giveaway.
Yeah,
and he passed away at the age of 98. So,
well, you know how we do it on this show.
We can confirm this time that he did pass away.
This is not a Ruben Studdard situation.
And I really hope we can see more unity and more peace when already things are so difficult. So, shout out to his family.
Rest in peace.
One fan suggested the Mets should wear an eggplant emoji on their uniforms.
Oh, that'd be nice. Or you could do the hot dog emoji as well. Yeah. Man, yeah. R.I.P. to the realest wiener of them all.
He said no in high school way back.
He heard it.
He heard the wiener part. People would make fun of the fact that his last name was Weiner, but he said no one ever put together the Seymour part of it.
What was his dad and mom thinking? Hey, watch this. Like your kids, you got to love your kids, and to do that, I mean, he's setting him up for a lifetime of bullying.
It's his quote to me. It's been so enjoyable. In no way does it annoy me. Just look at all the notoriety I got.
100%. I was thinking about changing my name. Ben and Weiner in the morning. East County Chris says everybody loves a wiener is a first seed. Yeah, no question for next year. So good. Paulie and I will probably be calling a hot dog maker before you know it. Well, next time when are you out of town again? Paulie and I will be calling a hot dog shop.
Is this Oscar Mayer?
Yeah, right. Oscar Mayer, thanks for calling. Everybody loves a wiener. So good. Rest in peace, King. That's more of a hat tip. All right. That's 98 years old, man. He started his life as a Brooklyn Dodger fan and then adopted the Mets. And 98 years. That's a good run, my friend.
Anyone who gives up the Dodgers, even if it's because they left town.
Yeah.
When you were, probably like 20 or 30
Correct.
years old.
Just a young Seymour Weiner out on the town, just getting after it. And then his favorite team left. So rest in peace to the great Seymour Weiner. We'll miss him.
He actually witnessed Jackie Robinson's first hit
That's
at Evans
amazing.
Field in 1947.
That's amazing, dude. That's amazing. What a life. What a life. Incredible.
All right. We still have plenty to get to in the second half of Ben and Woods, including Big League Wednesday. Brett Boone's going to join us coming up at 8:35. We also have a game of Take on Woods. Woods has been pretty hot lately. I don't think he's lost in the last couple of weeks. So not too many qualifiers this month for our trip to Las Vegas. You'll have a chance to qualify for the getaway and the concert tickets, all coming up in our 8 o'clock hour. And then 9 o'clock hour, we got more Padres talk as well as a Rindle report for you before we get to the end of the program today.
Seymour Woods is actually works better. Seymour Woods.
Seymour Woods.
Yeah, you get it?
I do.
Yeah. I like that. Good call. Question is moot.
We will be back with more Ben and Woods next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we're halfway home on a Wednesday. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Padres little day baseball today, 1:10. Michael King taking on somebody. Who is it?
Brandon Laup. Landon
Raup.
Raup or Roop?
Roop.
I don't know.
R-O-U-P-P.
You tell me.
I don't know. I actually don't know.
Maybe it's Rue.
Rue. The
The
P's
P
are
is silent.
Both P's.
Both P's. Oh, there's two P's.
Maybe
at the
one
end.
of the P's is silent.
Then it's just
but the other one
Rue.
you pronounce.
All right. Well, looking forward to that. Certainly welcome in to all of you listening and watching on the YouTube feed. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Rindle, the executive producer. The executive producer of the program. And Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well.
Something is different.
Don't know what you mean.
Weren't you wearing a white shirt just a couple of minutes ago?
I did. I was.
Now you're wearing a black shirt.
I am. Costume change.
Oh, costume change.
Yeah.
You look good.
Thank you.
I think you look sharp.
Do
in
you?
A polo. Yeah. I know it's more my look is the polo look, but you've gone to the solid logoed black polo.
Mm-hmm.
What does that say there? Sedano. Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Little product placement branding from your old pal Woodsy over there.
Simply the best.
Why not?
Yeah. Local veteran-owned dealership. Head on down. Get in the car or truck of your dreams.
I mean, you're like a Major League Baseball player with the Motorola patch
Yeah.
or whatever you've got going now.
Yeah, it was
Woodsy's branded and sponsored this morning.
Was asked to wear this.
That's what we do now? I didn't know that was a thing.
Apparently it is. Apparently it is. So I have it on.
We should
proud.
But if you're setting this
I
precedent,
was going to say, we have to do a better job on this show of setting precedents.
I'm
We
thinking,
do? Yeah.
I'm thinking soon we'll be coming in the NASCAR suits that are
Fine.
just covered in logos all over the place.
Yep. Fine by me. Well, it's funny that you mentioned commercials because when we were in break, I guess, I oftentimes when there's a break, I get up, I run to the restroom, go grab food or something and come back. And I miss a lot of it.
We almost tune out the entire commercial breaks.
Pretty much.
Just so you guys know, our headphones come off. We're usually talking during the commercial breaks. Somebody in the chat sometimes be like, oh my God, you hear what Kelly just said in her traffic? We're like,
And we missed it.
no idea. We're not listening.
But
we
I
did hear this one.
I happened to stay in here this morning and I listened to this spot that you did, Benjamin, for the Barnes firm. And I was blown away because it was very aggressive. And it made me laugh immediately. And I had never heard it before.
Hit by a truck. Call
Hit
the
by a
Barnes firm.
truck? What in
Hit by
the
a truck.
What in the world? Hit by a truck.
Hit by a truck.
You sound like the Saw there. You hit by a truck. You've got a problem.
It was 4 seconds of copy. I mean,
That's all you got.
That's all you got. You had to hit it hard and quickly.
Huh. Hit by a truck.
Was that truck a Ford F-150 from Sedano Ford?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, it was great. I loved it. It was a very short commercial.
The irony is, of course, I once was hit by a truck.
That's
Hit
true.
by a truck. An SUV.
Hit by a truck.
Hit by a truck.
You've got a problem.
Club Pilates.
I should have called 1-800-8-million. Hit by a truck. I probably had a pretty good case against the University of Arizona.
You got a problem. 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 You got a problem.
That should be the commercial. Hit by a truck. Yeah, do it again.
Hit by a truck. Hit by a truck.
Call the whole thing.
You
I
got a
want him
problem.
and Saw.
Oh, yeah.
That should be the commercial.
Hit by a truck.
You got a problem.
It's amazing. Amazing.
You got a problem.
I would say so.
If you're hit by a truck,
You've got a problem.
and you may
got a
need
problem.
you may need an attorney to
Makes me laugh.
represent you. and
Makes me
fight
laugh
for you.
every time. Every time.
Get what you
just
deserve.
heard the best 15 minutes of radio.
Really just 4 seconds of radio. Hit by a truck.
Yeah, I was walking into the round table last Thursday, brought to you by Round Table Pizza, the pizza royalty.
Where's your round table polo?
I don't know. They haven't given me one yet, but I was walking into the round table to do the round table, and our sales guy stopped me. Hey, bro, got something for you. I was like, oh, cool. Well, what is it? And he said, it's a shirt. And I said, oh, okay. And not the first shirt I've been given, by a sponsor, certainly. ever. You know, hey, check out. I got an Eco Water shirt somewhere. I got all kinds of stuff. Right? It builds up over the years. I don't often wear them to the station, unlike yourself, Ben. But I said, okay, thanks. And he goes, oh, I need you to wear it on the stream. And I said, oh, you do? I said, oh, okay. What's the frequency? He goes, once a month, whatever. Just throw it on. I said, oh, all right. No problem.
You don't have to tell us, but congrats on all the money that you must be making for that.
I said, no problem.
You feel like you should be paid? I mean, you wear shirts anyway. It's not like you wouldn't be wearing a shirt if it would.
Well, I mean, I do endorsements for them, so yeah,
right.
I get paid for endorsements. Sure,
this is just a little bonus.
They call it the added value. Yeah, the graphic is kind of hiding the logo. So do I need to wear it up higher?
Perhaps,
maybe because it's getting blocked out. So I don't know.
Maybe just stand and do the show.
Just like
perfect. Now
that looks great.
We're never going to miss it.
Just only once a month.
I'll just
not
stand
that big of a
the
deal.
whole time so you can see the logo. Why don't we can we throw like a logo maybe in the YouTube feed or something? I don't know. It's not look, I fight a lot of battles here. This one I was just you caught me at the right moment. I wasn't going to fight. I just said, sure, whatever they want. I love Manny Sedano. He can do what he wants. Be happy to wear a shirt, represent.
That's why they went to you and not to me.
I can't fight anymore, Paulie. I'm tired of fighting. I'm just at this point. I'm sure. Whatever you need. That's the new me. Yeah, sure. Whatever you need. How can I help? It's weird. It's a weird place for me to live in, but I'm not fighting.
I'm pretty sure that Joy Division isn't giving you anything.
No,
to
not
wear
a
their
dime.
shirts,
Not a dime. Not one single nickel.
Whoever's shirt you were wearing today.
This is the Joy Division. Unknown.
It was Joy Division. Yeah.
So you're right. They don't pay me a dime to represent their product and brand. So, but yeah, I'm happy to wear it. Proud, and
I think you look good.
I would. You know what I would like better if we're like I love the Ford logo. It's one of my favorites. Just give me like a cool Ford T-shirt. I'll wear it. I'd wear that as part of my regular outfit. I'd wear it.
Just the blue oval that says
Ford. I think it's cool. I think it's really cool. But then again, I'm not promoting the local dealership. So I don't know. This is it's an interesting business that we are in, certainly. And don't worry, bud. Now that I've done it, guess who's next? You. Then you'll put it on and wear it like you do.
Well, I wear the 97.3 The Fan polo on my own volition.
That's true.
Sometimes.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't even need to be told to wear it.
That's true.
Hit by a truck.
Hit by a truck.
Hit by a truck. Ford or non-Ford?
Non-Ford. No chance. We would never. We
call 1-800-8-million.
That's right.
Find an attorney who will fight for you at the Barnes firm.
Yep. So here we go. We're off and running.
I had some breaking news during the break at the top of the hour involving the prank call to Shedeur Sanders.
Breaking news. Oh, yes.
So obviously they determined who it was. It was the son of the defensive coordinator of the Atlanta Falcons who found the number on his dad's iPad, wrote it down, gave it to his buddy. They recorded the call. They posted it on the internet. Surprise, surprise. They tracked them down and figured out who did it. And the NFL, according to Adam Schefter, has fined the Falcons $250,000. And Jeff Ulrich, the defensive coordinator, was also fined $100,000. Additionally, the Ulrich family is working with the organization to participate in community service initiatives in relation to last week's matter, which I have no idea what that means. Is there community service involving anti-prank calls that they can do or something? Education, like to go to high schools and talk about why you shouldn't make prank calls?
I mean, maybe.
Guess.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
That's a lot of money for a defensive coordinator.
That's the thing too. Imagine doing something that you screw up so badly it costs your dad $100,000 fine.
We see like Draymond Green gets fined all the time, $50,000. That's a lot of money. He can afford it. I don't know how much this defensive coordinator makes, like what his annual salary is.
According to the internet, makes $1.6 million as defensive coordinator.
That's
not nothing.
Significant money.
Not nothing.
It's an expensive prank.
Dude.
That he didn't even do. His son did.
Son did it. You got to go into your kid and go, hey, man, you know what this cost me? It cost me $100,000. What do you even say?
If you made $80,000 a year, that would be like a $500 fine, which would be not nothing. I mean, if someone told me, yeah, you had to pay $500 right now, I certainly wouldn't be happy about it.
I wouldn't either. Something that your kid did, gets into your iPad, gives it to his buddies. I mean, again, somebody brought up the point yesterday. Imagine one of your kids getting in your phone, prank calling AJ Preller. I mean, Paulie, your phone, you don't have kids, but like your phone is, Paulie's phone is filled with celebrities. I mean, a kid could go nuts with Paulie's phone. He's got tons of people in there. You name it, they're probably in there. So that kid is like, he's in the chamber, man. He is in the chamber, and that dad's in the chamber, and that family. I don't imagine it's very, very cool around their house right now. Tense.
Going to come out of his Christmas presents later this year.
So dumb. So dumb, man. I'd be so mad. Anyway, yeah, there's your breaking news update.
I mean, would you even have to be mad? If I was the kid, I would feel so incredibly bad about it at this point that I don't think as a parent you really even need to say much.
I mean, you can feel bad all you want. That's still $100,000 going out the door. You know what I mean? Like it's tough one. Yeah, take him right out of your trust and will. Trustandwill.com. Use the code FAN when you check out. 20%.
Was my math off? They say it was more like a $5,000 fine.
That sounds closer.
$80,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's right. 5,000. That's a significant chunk.
Man, that's big. That's big. Yeah, so that's a nice check you have to write. How much does this guy make a year?
1.6.
Okay. Yeah, that's hefty.
Yeah,
that's hefty.
All right, I need a contestant for Take on Woods. Try to qualify for a trip to Las Vegas. We got our 5-question musical trivia challenge coming up next. 833-288-0973. Call now. Get online. We'll play in just a couple of minutes at 833-288-0973. Kelly's got traffic. It's all coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. First, though, talk about SDFatLoss.com. Got a nice compliment yesterday from Mike Shildt. Said, have you been losing weight, working out? And I said, well, thank you for noticing, Mike. I did. I lost 40 pounds in 60 days on the SDFatLoss.com program. And all I really had to do was follow the simple advice and strategies from a counselor. The plan that they have set up was developed by doctors. It's easy to follow and helps you lose weight fast, up to a pound of fat per day and 10 to 20% of your body weight in just 60 days. A lot of clients lose 20 to 30. I lost even more. Any way you slice it, though, it's a fast way to feel better about yourself and get ready for summer, which is coming up here in San Diego. And it doesn't require any drugs or injections. You don't have to buy any bars or shakes, and you don't even have to exercise to lose the weight. Just get real food from the grocery store. You prep it, you eat it, and you lose the weight fast at SDFatLoss.com. So go to their website, schedule your free consultation, find out how the program can work for you, how it worked for Chris Ello, Matt Scraby, John Flint down the hall, so many Tier 1s who have lost so much weight so far. And take advantage, still here in spring, in the month of May coming up as well, $200 off the already affordable program at SDFatLoss.com. Again, go to SDFatLoss.com to schedule your free consultation. Results may vary.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Quick update. Talked yesterday about Shaquille O'Neal becoming the new general or assistant general manager at Sacramento State with head basketball coach Mike Bibby. They've already landed a high-profile transfer. Did you see this, Woods?
I did.
Mikey Williams, if that name sounds familiar, San Ysidro High School, had some legal problems. He was charged in a gun case where he fired a gun at a car that pulled up to his house. Ended up pleading guilty to reduced charges. He had a full ride to Memphis, never played for them, transferred to UCF, where he just averaged 5 points per game last season in 14 minutes, so limited time. Now he's going to try to restart his college basketball career after being like 5-star top prospect in the country a couple of years ago, now going to Sacramento State.
Pretty wild.
For Mike Bibby under assistant GM Shaquille O'Neal.
Pretty wild, man. You know, the prospects are always just prospects until they're not. I mean, he was as highly touted of a player as anybody ever. And 5 points a game.
Bro, I was watching his highlights from high school.
Yeah, insane.
Locally.
He could dunk at age 12.
Unbelievable.
He could dunk at age 12.
Interesting.
And maybe he figures it out, gets the right coaching, and it's not too late for him. He's had a lot to deal with, and obviously of his own doing as well, but you don't give up on someone when they're still 20, 21 years old. They still have a lot of time ahead of them to
absolutely
get it figured out.
Keep getting chances for sure.
And this all comes on the heels of what has turned into a pretty good offseason for Brian Dutcher, San Diego State basketball. They picked up a big-time recruit in that LZ Harrington we talked about, a 4-star recruit, but just keeping the players that they've kept with Magoon Guath returning. The only question now is whether Miles Byrd still comes back. He's one of the...
I saw a couple of projections for Miles Byrd.
There is some interest apparently on the NBA level.
Late first round is what I saw.
Which, if that's the case, then, I would probably recommend that he stays in the draft if he really thinks he's going in the first round. I would have tend to have thought that he would have fallen based on just the kind of rough second half of the season he had for the Aztecs, but they project so much more on just what your college stats and numbers are. They look at, obviously, athleticism and potential, and, he's a good defender. So we'll see. That's the last question mark, though. Everybody else pretty much, after Nick Boyd left, is going to stay. You get Reese Waters back. Looks like the Aztecs will have a pretty good team, at least the makings of a pretty good team for the next college basketball season.
Looking forward to it.
All right, looking forward to take on Woods. We got a contestant ready to go. Let's play our game for a Wednesday. All right, we got Take on Woods brought to you by Bay Alarm, security and fire alarms for every business. We got you, and we got, looks like William. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
You like William, Bill, Billy, Willie?
Bill.
Bill. All right, Bill, you are a contestant today for Take on Woods. 5 questions. You go first. Woods comes back and goes second. If you beat or tie him, we will put you in our grand prize drawing, which should happen at the end of the week, I believe, since we're here at the end of April. For the trip to Las Vegas, tickets to either Disturbed, Ghost, or Pantera, 2 nights at the MGM Grand, and a $150 gift card. Get tickets for all 3 shows now at Ticketmaster.com. All right, to give you the advantage, we let you pick the category, keep Woods in the dark. Your choices today: duets, old and new-ish. That's a 2-second song category with all duets. We got the Magic Touch, 5 song titles that include the word touch. And our new category, triple play. Song titles that include the same word repeated 3 times. So duets, old and new-ish, the Magic Touch, or triple play. Bill, what would you like to play?
The Magic Touch.
The Magic Touch. All right, you'll have 5 questions, 5 songs, all with the word touch in the title. First question's the 2-second song. You need to give me both that title and the artist to score the point. If you don't know an answer, say pass. We'll come back to it if there's time left on the clock at the end. Bill, are you ready to go?
Let's go.
All right, let's cue it up. 60 seconds on the clock. Again, the category is the Magic Touch. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Bill. Let's take on Woods. Rick James shares songwriting credit for which 1990 hit by MC Hammer due to the use of the same opening riff from Super Freak.
Fantastic.
Correct. Kanye West raps I Gotta Testify, come up in the spot looking extra fly for The Day I Die, in which hit from his second album in 2005. Australian rock band Divinals had their biggest hit with which 1990 song about female autoerotica?
I Touch Myself.
Correct. Jim Morrison asked the question, what was that promise that you made, in which final top 10 hit by The Doors in 1969?
I don't know.
All right, go back to the 2-second song. See if you can get this one. All right, you got 2. You got You Can't Touch This by MC Hammer and I Touch Myself by Divinals. The 2-second song was Touch of Grey by Grateful Dead, Touch the Sky by Kanye, and Touch Me by The Doors. Let's bring Woods back in. Think he'll laugh at the question about Divinals? Think he will. All right, Bill's score is in. Woods returns from his isolation. No category for him. 60 seconds on the clock. Woods, your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on Bill.
Touch of Grey, Grateful Dead.
Correct. Rick James shares songwriting credit for which 1990 hit by MC Hammer due to use of the
Can't Touch This.
Correct. Kanye West raps I Gotta Testify, come up in the spot looking extra fly for The Day I Die, in which hit from his second album in 2005.
I'll come back to it.
Australian rock band Divinyls had their biggest hit, with which 1990.
I touched myself.
Correct. Jim Morrison asked the question, what was that promise that
Touch
you
me.
made? Correct.
What
Kanye
is the
West
Kanye
raps,
song?
I Gotta Testify, come up in the spot looking extra fly for The Day I Die, in which hit from his second album in 2005.
Touch my taint.
Touch the sky.
Damn it.
Yeah. But
I like that
4 is
song.
a win, 4-2 for Woods, who remains on fire right now. And I touch myself.
Oh, now we both have one.
You didn't let me finish the question. You just answered it. I touch myself. Australian rock band Divinyls had their biggest hit, with which 1990 song about female autoerotica. I had to fit the category in some way. That was the magic touch. Was the
magic
was
touch.
the category
You are
today?
the giant pervert.
Female autoerotica.
Yeah, look at what a pervert you are. Look at it. Look at he's so
That's
happy.
what the song is about.
So now you have me saying I touch myself and Ben saying I touch myself.
That's the name of the
Seymour
song. Weiner.
What a day. We have mined like 7, 8 new drops.
I touch myself. Female autoerotica.
Is that the right word for it? By
Yes,
the way? Autoerotica.
That is absolutely
Is it?
the correct. Everybody loves a wiener.
Yes. Yes. Are you sure? Hold on. I'm going to look this up.
That's what the song is about.
I know that. Okay. All right. The practice of achieving arousal and gratification. No. Okay. Through, yeah.
Female autoerotica.
Self-stimulation. That's common and natural part of human sexuality.
And I touch
Involving-
myself. Clinical. I'm using the clinical term
Involving
for it to
the
try to-
use of one's own body or imagination.
I'm trying. I was trying to be very clinical so as not to be tawdry.
Tawdry.
I was thinking, how would Alex Trebek have
Ooh,
phrased
yes.
this on Jeopardy?
Do you think he
And
would have said
that's-
that?
I think that's what he would have said.
What about self-seduction?
See, I don't think he would have said that.
No, all right.
You would have said that.
That I would say that.
I went with the more clinical phrase.
So many good drops today.
This is a gold mine. I don't even know where to start.
Oh, it's so good.
All right, well, we'll ask Brett Boone about it. When...
Adam says, Ben, please see me after the show.
Hit by a truck.
My brain just shorted in my head. I just snotted and I had like a mini stroke in my head. Oh God, that's so good.
And I touch myself. Booney coming up next on a Big
Hope
League
he's not
Wednesday
listening.
on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Well, listen, if you are a homeowner, you can certainly do what Ben was just talking about, but maybe times are a little tight right now. If your bills are keeping you up at night, worried about your finances in these crazy times, if you're like most people, you've probably racked up a sizable amount on your credit cards, the monthly payment not making a dent in it. Time to call Loan Pronto today. If you do own a home, you got a super easy way to get tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash out of your home's equity. They have lots of options for helping you tap into the equity in your home, get the cash you need to get back on solid footing. Now, most homeowners who do this end up wiping out all their credit card debt, cutting their monthly expenses by $1,000. You didn't mean to end up in this spot. Doesn't matter, man. You don't have to keep stressing about money. Call Loan Pronto for fast debt relief now. 619-207-4336 or loanpronto.com. 619-207-4336. Again, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
Don't forget, you can tune into the Manager's Report with Mike Shildt this Friday at 9 a.m. here on Ben & Woods. The Manager's Report, refreshed by Eco Water SoCal. Try alkaline water for just $9.95 a month. Eco Water SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. And got your Eco Water SoCal pregame show with Sam Levitt coming up at 12:10 today with the early getaway day start, wrapping up the 2-game series against the San Francisco Giants today at Petco Park. Then we won't see our Padres for a while. A 9-game road trip, 3 cities: Pittsburgh, the Bronx, and Denver.
Yeah,
that's quite a haul across the country and back.
Yeah, well, one of those weird, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but here we are, and they're going to have to travel a bunch this year. Their asses are going to be a little raw, dudes.
Always one of the longest travel schedules.
I wonder what our next guest's worst travel stories
I
are.
want to ask him.
He played for the Mariners a lot. Now they're up on an island up there in the Northwest.
Constantly cross country.
I would think. And we will talk with Brett Boone, our Odyssey MLB insider, coming up right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is brought to you by MTS. Take the trolley to the game, running every 15 minutes or better. Several stalled vehicles we're dealing with right now. One of them on the National Avenue off-ramp of northbound 5, and stalled motorcycle reported southbound 15 near the 163. It's in the center divide. We still have this stalled car on the Carmel Mountain Road off-ramp northbound 15. Don't let traffic drag your day down, whether headed to the office or game day. Go the easy way with MTS. Trolleys run every 15 minutes or better throughout the day. Learn more and plan your trolley trip at sdmts.com. That's sdmts.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And we're joined right now by Brett Boone. Insider calls are presented by Grainger, with supplies and solutions for every industry. Grainger has the right product for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Brett, also the host of the Brett Boone podcast, featuring the most notable names in MLB and around sports every week. So when did travel start getting really, really nice in Major League Baseball? Were you around for that, Brett? Because now it's pretty sweet. It's all 4 seasons and private jets, but at some point you flew commercial and just stayed at kind of the regular hotels. When did that all change?
Now, Ben, how old do you think I am?
All right, so then you were already. Now your dad didn't get the good travel.
No.
Second.
Well, your grandpa didn't get the good travel.
Now we're talking. Gramps, those are back in the day. I got some grandpas. So they used to travel by train. He'd be hanging out with all the umpires would travel with him. So he told me how he buddied up with and it's amazing. I got to the big leagues and there were some, offspring of some umpires in my dad's or my grandpa's generation. And they'd be like, hey, my dad talks about your grandpa. He was the greatest. And I was just thinking, good, give me that pitch 2 inches off the outside corner or on the outside corner. That's a ball. So there were some perks to being Gramps' grandson. But, the travel has definitely changed. We always had it nice. The one story I do remember is I get called up in 92 first time. in Baltimore. I head to Baltimore. I pull in. I'm in AAA. We're living in vagabonds and wherever we could get a pillow and a bed. And I get to the big leagues and I pull in. I got this massive, 3-room suite. I'm going, big leagues is nice, And, there was champagne and welcoming me to the big leagues. And I'm going, this is great. Well, I didn't think about it. There's really not 30 or 40 suites in every town for the ball players. That was just a one-time welcome to the big leagues thing. Next trip, we went to Boston. I had a roommate. I go, what is this? Now, that's back when there were roommates.
Yeah.
My dad had a roommate for a long time. Rookies definitely had a roommate. But now, no, everything's as first class as you could imagine. And private planes everywhere you go. In Seattle, we had the best because we had our own private plane. And it was built for, there were all first class seats in the back and card tables. And yeah, we had a really good.
I bet it was a Boeing, right? It was right there.
Yeah,
so
right
built
there
it for you.
But it was Allen's plane, the owner of the Seahawks. We would lease it from him for the season. And we had our own plane. And it was not a dark time, 9/11. We were the first plane up because it was a private plane. Because most teams, they charter, for Delta, American, whatever it may be. But if you've got your own private plane, you're treated like a private plane. You see what I'm saying? And that goes with customs and all that stuff. It's no, this is a private plane. It's not a Delta chartered plane. So there is a difference. And a lot of teams, especially the other sports, the basketball teams, football teams, just because of the size of the athletes, they need kind of special planes, and a lot of them have their own plane.
That's incredible. Talking to Brett Boone here on Ben and Woods on a Big League Wednesday. And Booney, so we're about a month into the season. Now, take me into the mind of the everyday player right now. 30 days in, month in? The luster has certainly worn off from the beginning of the season, right?
Sure.
If your team got off to a good start, you're feeling pretty good and ready to go. If you're the Colorado Rockies, there's no light at the end of that tunnel.
Dog days of April
For these guys going into May. But I would imagine, but you tell me, the body is starting to bark a little bit after about a month.
Well, now a month, you're still, especially when you're in a Padres position where you're 18-11, you're one of the best teams in baseball. You're feeling great. You're kind of on a cloud right now. No, I'm not worried about anything. I'm worried about, they need to get healthy. There's some key players that are out. When we talk about Maryland, Cronenworth, you got to rise back last night. Darvish, hopefully coming in May. That's going to be a big help to that starting rotation, who's done great so far. But no, at this stage of the game now, you're just getting loose. You're not worried about it. You're off to a real good start in a real good division. Amazing how good this division is. I knew the Padres were going to be good. We all know the Dodgers were going to be good. Arizona was going to be better, but who knew about the San Francisco team and how good of a start they were going to get off to? So this is going to be probably the best division of baseball and going to be competitive all year. I think you got a minimum of 3 playoffs team coming out of this division. But right now, all these players a month in. Now, Colorado, their bodies might be hurting right now. It seems the worse you do, man, coming to the ballpark, it just doubles everything you're feeling because you're in for a long year. They're going to lose 110 plus games of the White Sox of a year ago, and the White Sox this year aren't very good, but they're glad to see Colorado around, so all the focus isn't on them. They're going to have a long year. And all you need to do is when you play them, you got to take advantage of that if you're the opponent.
Speaking of injuries, Booney, what's the real thought in a clubhouse when a team suffers a bunch of injuries? I know what they tell us, and that is next man up. Hey, we don't even think about it. If you're in the lineup, you just got to perform that day. But then last night after the game, Xander has his big game, and the first thing he goes, hey, really good to get, a rise and Hayward back in the lineup makes a real difference. Well, what's the real feeling when hey, we got 3 regulars down out of our lineup? How do you handle that?
3, maybe 4.
As a big leaguer.
Well, yeah, it depends who the team is. If you're it's tough to give an example. You're the Dodgers and one of your stars go down, it's not a big deal. You got stars all over the place. I think Padres similar. You've got some big boys down right now. But at the same time, you got Tatis, Machado, Bogaerts still in the lineup. So it's not as big a deal for a stacked team, a team that's got some depth to it. I think of the Dodgers when you think of the pitching. Blake Snell and Glasnow are down, but they're not worried about it. 2 Cy Young guys are down in their rotation, but they've got plenty of backup, so they can weather that storm. So it all depends on the team you're on, the year, the depth that you have on your roster. You know, if you're a Yankee and Aaron Judge goes down, well, now that's trouble.
Yeah.
That's, to me, that's the best player in baseball, especially from the offensive side. So it all depends on the team and what you have back up when some of your key guys go down. And the thinner you are, you know, more important that you stay up. That's why I think the Dodgers are different than everybody else, because of their depth. You know, in a day and age in 2025 where injuries are not a big deal, it seems like they're a dime a dozen. Guys getting injured more than ever before. I think more than any time in the history of baseball, it's important to stay healthy. The team that stays healthy seems to be getting a seat at the table come playoff time.
Boone, switching gears a little bit, wanted to ask you about the incident last night with Nick Pivetta and Andrew. Oh, God dang it, Patrick Bailey. You know, back in when you played, you could actually steal signs. You could be on second base and say, "Oh, I got it. I know what they're doing here." You could relay. Right. I'm sure you did. I'm sure you guys talked about it pregame. Now with
caution.
Do what now?
With caution.
With caution, right? So you did it with caution. Yeah, I think you've mentioned before there are a couple of stories back in the day, but like now with PitchCom, you know, you got to look into a guy's glove and maybe you can pick up a split finger grip or a 2-seam grip or whatever and relay it. When you say with caution, you saw Pivetta kind of charge off the mound. He was pretty pissed last night, but isn't it on him to do a better job of not tipping his pitches?
Absolutely. And my dad talked about that a lot. He said, you know, if back before PitchCom, you know, you got to, if I'm at first base and I get my lead and I can peek in and that catcher's being lazy and leaving that right knee open and I can see a sign and I get it. I see off speed. For me, who wasn't a big base stealer, maybe that's the time I go. So I'm going to get every advantage I can get. My dad, I said, would that piss you off? He goes, yeah, it would piss me off, but I'd be pissed at myself for allowing you to even get the sign.
Yep.
Said, if I think you're stealing the signs, I need to do a better job with my cadence. With PitchCom, it's virtually impossible. You can give location from second base, but it's really tough. And the real astute guys, and I played with some guys that were really good at picking up tells. I wasn't one of those guys.
You said McLemore. Mark McLemore was really good at it.
McLemore, if he came to me and whispered in my ear, Boone, I got the signs, do you want them? I trust Mac. So I say, absolutely. If somebody else on the team, and they'll remain unnamed, said, Boone, I think I got the signs, I'm like, well, why don't you keep them to yourself? Because I can't risk it. I was always nervous about giving them, but if somebody gave me what was going on in a cadence or something, and I could tell what the pitch was coming, I felt an obligation to my team to relay it. But I was always paranoid because I know as a second baseman, I'm watching you like a hawk, and if I think you're relaying my signs to the hitter, we've got a big problem. You're going to wear one in your ear hole.
Yes.
The same is true today. I mean, do it at your own, like
your
I
own
said,
peril. Yeah.
With caution, because if I catch you, you are going to get drilled, and you have to accept that going in. I always accepted it. If I'm out there and I'm going to relay a sign and I get caught, next time up, I might wear one in the ribs, and I'm not fighting. I'm going to first base. I'm tipping my cap. I'm saying, all right, are we square?
Yep.
And we're square, and life goes on. But that's a part of the game. It's always been a part of the game.
Love it.
And it's kind of those unwritten rules. Yeah. Is it legal? I don't know if there's any print that says it's illegal, but it's something we always do. It's gaining that edge wherever you can. And I know like Flannery, when he was the third base coach, he's got to be real careful because we'll sit there, especially nowadays with cameras, and you're giving signs. I mean, other coaches will study your coach's signs from the camera angle, and they'll have all that feedback. And if they can decipher and break it down, that's a little bit of an edge that we all try to get. All the teams are doing it, always have, always will. But if you get caught, you're going to wear one in the ribs, and you should.
Yeah, I love it.
Bonnie, we saw the Dodgers with a 13-run lead throwing Kike Hernandez to pitch. Did you ever get that call at the end of a game or any of your teammates? Any stories on position players going into pitch?
By the way, you guys all wanted to do it, right? Because that's the sense that I get is they all go, Coach, let me pitch.
Yeah, but they'd always give it to a utility player. You know, they'd never let Barry Larkin, they'd never let Griffey pitch because it's like, no, you're too important. Not to say I was Ken Griffey, but they're always going to let a utility.
Did those guys still ask?
They still ask?
Of course we all want to do it. And you'll see if you're a regular player your whole career and you get to the end of your career, they'll let you. They'll let you in because they're like, he's only got so many more bullets left in the chamber. If he blows out his arm, it's no big deal. He's old now. But it was interesting. I saw the highlights of Kiki pitching. I'll tell you what, he's become kind of a character.
He is. He's just a bit master for
you
them.
know?
Yeah.
He's big. I mean, he's a big box office draw for being a guy that's not even in the lineup every day. So he went out, did his thing. Actually was pretty impressive with the Ephus pitch and got through that inning. But as a hitter on the other side, put the circus tent up. I hated it. I never liked it. When the position player comes in, I got nothing to gain. And I'd rather just please walk me so I can go to first and not get pissed all night that I just made an out off a position player. Because I'm supposed to get a hit. There's nothing to gain.
Correct.
I hated when that happened as a hitter.
Boney, always appreciate
stuff,
it.
man.
Great stuff. We'll talk to you again in a couple of weeks. Really appreciate it.
All right, guys.
Thank you, buddy.
That was Odyssey MLB Insider Brett Boone. Insider calls are presented by Grainger with supplies and solutions for every industry. Grainger has the right product for you. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. I don't think you're immune even as a major leaguer. If you're a position player going in, you have to know you are in a dangerous spot. You are throwing balls up there, possibly
those guys can kill you.
50 miles an hour to guys who hit the ball 110 miles an hour off the bat. That would be scary to me. I would not want to do it.
Should you be able to just bang it at this point?
Oh, really? Just like
Bang
it's a run rule. Like,
no
hey,
position pitchers pitching anymore. But if it's
an over 10 run game going to the last inning, it's just
a mercy
it's over.
rule.
It's
we're
over.
out
After
like
the
they do in
8th
college,
inning or after
like
the
they do
7th
in every
inning.
other league. I mean, that's it. I don't want him to get hurt. I don't want you guys to get hurt. Let's bang it.
Nobody wants to watch it.
Nobody wants to watch. I mean, the allure of it has worn off so much. I'll see people position player pitching. It does not make me want to run to the remote control and put on the Reds Marlins game because
back in the day I was like excited by it, but now it's like they have to have rules about it.
Of course,
It
you can't
just
just do
screams. It screams. This game is over.
Right. So if the game
Don't bother.
If the game's over, just call it over.
I'd be in favor of that.
I think I would be as well.
Maybe after 7 complete innings, call it 9 runs, 10 runs, whatever.
He's right. Dub J's, the revenue people will not allow it. You're right. They're going to end up playing all the
commercials that need to run,
milking everything out of it. But yeah, man, I see what you're saying and I think that's why those guys those guys can throw harder. Obviously, Kike Hernandez can throw harder than 48 miles an hour, but they don't go up there and throw their 81. Because that's BP speed, and they're going to wear one off the forehead.
That's the most dangerous.
Yeah.
The rule now is you can use a position player when you're trailing by 8 or more runs at any point in the game, or if you're leading by 10 or more just in the 9th inning.
Right.
And in extra innings, obviously, you run out of pitchers, you need someone to come in and pitch. They let you do that if it goes long enough. But
it's a pretty tired bid at this point.
Yeah. It's and now it's. I mean, it used to just be we have no one left.
Yeah, we're just gonna chuck them.
But now it's almost we're limited to 13 pitchers on our roster. We don't want to use someone that we want to save for tomorrow because we got a game tomorrow and we need a fresh bullpen. So we'd rather have this guy wear it for an inning than actually throw a pitcher that we have. So it's used strategically to save yourself for the next game at this point.
Yeah, and Boone makes a good point though. Like, there's not. If he gets a hit, great. You're supposed to. You hit it off a 50-mile-an-hour ephus, big, BFD. If you don't, you're mortified because the guy's up there throwing ephus pitches.
And even if you get a home run, it's like, I guess it goes on my stats.
Yeah,
but everyone knows that one doesn't really count.
Yeah.
It's a no-win situation for the batters.
Yeah, I would be down for the old. Hey, man, we're out, so you guys pick up this dub. But like you said, there's no way the revenue people are going to allow you to end games in the 8th inning or whatever. So interesting.
All right, Padres wrap up their homestand. We'll look ahead to this afternoon's matchup against the Giants. Got a round of report as well. All coming up in the final hour of Ben and Woods. It begins next right here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Well, the biggest thing they may have come from last night's game, Woods, and I don't know if I'm buying it, but I will certainly offer it up right now, is can Xander Bogaerts find some confidence and get into a good place and become a regular offensive contributor for the San Diego Padres based on what he did last night? I hope so. I think Xander believes that that's the case. He was waiting, just needed something good to happen, and now wants to carry that momentum forward.
You remember what the great Winston Wolfe said in Pulp Fiction when they asked him, hey, I can't believe this is the same car. Well, let's not go.
We're not quite there yet.
We're not quite there yet. I can't repeat it on the radio, what he said, but you get the gist. You need consistency, right? From all of your stars. You need consistency. That's why you pay stars what you pay stars. You don't pay them that for their
it was a more tawdry way of saying let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Correct. It's the second time you used the word tawdry today, which is great. But I do think obviously some knocks make you feel better. A home run, certainly that's kind of, a load off. You're like, all right, that's out of the way.
Stakes, as you like to call them.
Stakes.
3 RBI. Do you know
stakes.
The last time that Xander had a 3 RBI or more game?
2020.
No, August 11th, 2023. Didn't have a single one last year. So, a 3 RBI game with a 2-out RBI single and a 2-run home run. Something we haven't seen from Xander in quite a while.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Confidence is a big part of hitting. There's no doubt about it. And if Xander believes it, maybe that's the only thing that really matters.
You're not in the big leagues without knowing how to swing a bat. You're not. You don't make it into the big leagues. You don't make $25 million a year without knowing how to swing a bat. It is probably, Ben, for big leaguers, it's probably 94% of it. Believing that you can do it, knowing that your process is right, knowing that your load is correct, knowing that your hands are comfortable, knowing that your body feels right. For those guys, they're so automatic. They take so many swings a day. They take so many swings in the course of a season. It's probably 94% mental in the big leagues.
5-time Silver Slugger. Like, he knows how to hit.
Bro knows how to hit.
It's a mental thing.
It's in his dome.
And
breaking
I don't know
out
how to fix it, but
breaking out a little bit last night will certainly help.
So Padres got Luis Arraez and Jason Hayward back last night. Have an update for you from Kevin Acee on other players returning. He says the updated target for Jackson Merrill's return is now Monday in New York against the Yankees. So that would be 4 more games today, and then 3 against the Pirates, and then hopefully Jackson Merrill ready to go for Monday. He says Jake Cronenworth is expected back for the series in Colorado beginning May 9th. Nice. So both of those guys slated to return on the upcoming road trip for the San Diego Padres. Merrill and Brandon Lockridge are still at the team's complex in Arizona. Cronenworth will join them later this week. And Yu Darvish is also still rehabbing. He threw his second consecutive intense bullpen session in 5 days, simulating 2 innings, 13 pitches, then 21 pitches. Said he felt good. He's expecting to face hitters in Arizona this weekend. He'll probably do that twice and then make at least 2 rehab starts in the minor leagues, lining up for a return in late May to the Padres rotation.
Good. Yeah, will be a huge, all of those guys will be nice lifts to the team, and Yu Darvish, again, he's a little bit older. He knows his body. He knows when he's ready and when he can be effective. So there's no reason really to rush Yu Darvish right now. And really Merrill either. I mean, we need these guys for the long haul, especially, and those hammies can be so tricky. So I know he played yesterday. I know he was running yesterday. I think he played some defense yesterday as well. Good sign. How does he feel today? That remains to be seen. But, we've waited this long. We can wait 4 more games if he comes back and is ready to go.
Elias Diaz had a nice night at the plate.
Yeah.
A couple of hits last night after Padres catchers had gone through a major slump over the past, couple of weeks. And I really don't, the Padres will continue to have offensive slumps from their catchers. Just neither of them are likely going to be, all-star type performers. But it's good to see Diaz contributing. Now, we've talked a lot about Luis Camposano hitting at least in the minor leagues. We don't think catching is still in the cards for him on the big league level, especially after what Mike Shildt said yesterday before the game. I don't know if you heard his comments. He was asked, hey, do you care if you get any offense at all from the catchers, basically? And he said, I mean, you care about everything, but he certainly considers the catching position to be primarily one about defense and working with pitching staffs. And we talked about it yesterday. He gives them very high marks, both Diaz and Maldonado, on how they are working with both the starters and the bullpen this season.
And so do the pitchers. And I think if you, as much credit as we want to give to the pitchers and as much credit as we want to give to Ruben Niebla, I do believe that there is some bit of credit that needs to go to the catchers. Have they had a couple of moments this year, Ben, that have really, frankly, looked kind of lazy and boxing balls and things like that? Yeah, they absolutely have. But I don't think you can just stick anybody back there to catch this bullpen and this starting rotation. And I think by those regards, like they've done a good job. Why? Because the proof is there. Our pitchers have been great. They've really pitched well. Ruben gets a ton of credit, as he should. The pitchers get a ton of credit, as they should. I do think a little bit of credit should go to Martin Maldonado and to Elias Diaz for the success of their pitchers. I know Michael King certainly feels that way about Diaz, and we'll see how they work today. I'm assuming it's going to be Diaz today on a back-to-back. I would assume it's pretty rare, the day game after a night game, but
he's worked with King as well.
Yeah, he's worked with
pretty
King
regularly, I believe. So
we'll see.
Now, the Padres' top catcher at Double-A, Brandon Valenzuela, had a walk-off home run last night. He's had a decent week last week, but I just don't get any sense that the Padres are about to make a change at the catcher position. Also in the minor leagues, guess who had another big Tuesday?
Oh my God, Leo, the kid. Maybe he is ready. No, I'm kidding. He's not.
Leo DeVries went 3 for 3 with a home run, a double, a sacrifice, made a nice defensive play, and I believe with his 3 for 3 and home run last night, he is now leading the Texas League in OPS at this point as an 18-year-old, when most guys in that league are 20, 21 or older, which is really
he's feeling comfortable,
really impressive.
We did talk about yesterday at some point, maybe he does get the nod, Ben, to move up a level.
Well,
what's the rush? I don't know. You test him a little bit, but certainly not ready for the big leagues.
Who's
at 18.
the radio voice of the Fort Wayne Tin Caps? We had him on. I can't remember his name, but he tweeted yesterday, you might want to get here quickly if you want to see,
interesting,
like this week, if you want to see Leo DeVries.
John Nolan.
And he said, you might want to get here this week if you want to see Leo DeVries. And I go, really? They're not going to bump him up to Double-A already, are they? I mean, at least wait until the All-Star break. But perhaps they think that, the challenge that he would, the Padres don't, and we've seen this from AJ Preller, they don't necessarily think the way other organizations think when it comes to promoting players. It's not simply, has he checked all the boxes at single A? Okay, now we're moving up to high A. All right, has he checked all the boxes? Is it the middle of the season? We'll move him up to Double A. It's simply, what do they think will be in the best interests of developing the player? And if they think he'll get more out of facing Double A pitching, even if they don't think he's quite ready for it, if they don't think he's getting much now out of facing single A pitching, like, hey, he's plenty good for this league, let's challenge him a little bit. You could see the Padres aggressively promote him without the intention of like putting him on the fast track to the big leagues. Don't be mistaken. Even if they do promote Leo DeVries this year, even in the first half of this year, doesn't mean he's one step away from becoming a big leaguer. It means they feel like he will develop better by facing this certain level of pitching in this certain time period.
Well,
they put Salas up at Double-A for a hot minute, and then, they sent him back down the next year, and then they brought him back up. They're willing to move guys around for their development.
Man, it's one thing I love about this team and being a fan of this team and covering this team. You don't have to worry about that mess that they worry about in Pittsburgh with Bubba Chandler, who's ready. He's just carving them up in the minors. We're not calling him up yet. Why? Well, there's probably some incentives and rookie of the year, and service time manipulation. You see it in Boston with Marcelo Mayer right now. He's tearing the cover off the ball. He's a 24 RBI in 9 games. Red Sox could use some offensive help. Don't know where you play him right now necessarily, but you don't really have to worry about it here. You get the sense that when they're ready here, they'll be here. You know, they don't do that. AJ Preller, for all his faults, right? And that is one thing that this organization is committed to doing, right? They've said if they're ready, they'll tell us and we'll bring them up. We don't really care about down the road manipulating their service
But
time.
I don't think they're going to do anything because they feel like they have a need on the big league level.
Right, of course.
They won't hold a guy back if he's ready, but they're not going to rush him just because they need someone.
I don't know, man. I kind of got that sense that they rushed Jackson Merrill last year. Boy, did I have egg on my face after that.
Did they or did they not? I think
obviously hindsight, absolutely not.
Well,
but at the time,
the motivations, though, there is debate whether they really thought he was ready or
we
not.
had nobody. We had our center fielder was going to be.
I just wonder in the deepest heart of AJ Preller.
It was people were clamoring for a Zokar. That was going to be our starting center fielder.
In his deepest heart, did he start Jackson Merrill because he didn't have anybody else better, or because he truly felt like Jackson was ready and there was nothing more he needed to do in the minor leagues? I don't know.
Little bit of both.
I don't know.
Potentially.
Hi, this is Jackson Merrill.
I said it about.
I think it's absolutely both.
I said it about 2 months into the season. I go, AJ Preller owes Jackson Merrill a big fat steak dinner because he completely bailed the Padres out. I still feel that way. He absolutely bailed them out. You heard, everyone's heard. It was hours before they got on the plane. They still didn't know if they were going to bring him. What does that tell you? That they're 100% certain he's the guy? No. And he came up and he was ready to go. Well, Renato says, why hold Tirso so long? Last year he was hot fire. Seems like we called him up when he's cold. No, we called him up when he's hot, and he hasn't produced. You know, he hasn't produced this year. So
clearly, well, the Padres have liked Tirso, and you know that's why he's been in the organization so long. I don't think anybody's ever bought into the fact that he's a surefire major league, starter every day.
Yeah,
and Tirso has yet to prove that even at this, even with the amount of injuries the Padres have had, that he's a starter on the big league level.
Correct.
Yet, he may still do so, but
there's time.
Jackson, I think they knew at some point was going to be a starter every day in the big leagues. Tirso, I don't get that sense that they have the same level of confidence.
Yeah. Jesse says Merrill played for the Tin Caps the year before he started in center field for the Padres. Yeah, he's a little bit older than Leo. Leo's 18 years old, man. And I do, again, I think you're going to see Leo Dallas DeVries here sooner than later, but I just don't think it'll be this year.
And I think in the organization, they do believe Leo DeVries is an everyday
can't miss
potential all-star player in the big leagues. It's just a matter of when, not if, but when, and it will happen at some point.
Exciting player, exciting future. Sure, a lot can happen, as we know, but I genuinely feel that Jackson completely saved their bacon last year. It was pretty shocking when he made the team. And again, as I mentioned, they weren't that sure as they were kind of, biting their fingernails going, should we bring this kid to career? Is this kid ready right now? And, you talked yesterday about Adrian Morejon, and Eno talked about, or no, it wasn't Eno. It was Jesse talking about Adrian Morejon. May have brought him up a little bit too early. You're going to misfire on some of these guys. Luis Urias was brought up in the chat, right? It's a very hard needle to thread. Like when is he ready? He'll tell us. And then you get to the big leagues and you flounder. What happens then? Are we done, or do we going to give him another shot? I mean, you see it all the time. Jared Kelenic was a can't miss prospect. Turned down a massive extension when he was really young. He said to the GM, "I'm going to bet on myself." The GM in Seattle, "I'm going to bet on myself." He's sent back down to the minors yesterday. It is such a hard sport. And everyone thinks they know these guys are can't miss prospects. And until they do it, they're just a prospect.
For every Aaron Judge betting on himself, for every Juan Soto, now those guys are first ballot Hall of Famers, like pretty good guys if you're going to bet on yourself. But like for every one of those stories, you do get those Jared Kelenics. He goes, man, if he could go back in time.
Paulie, the world is littered with those guys. The can't miss guy littered with them. The Mark Appels and just name it. There's a million of those guys on every team. We all have them, and it's a hard thing to know when to bring them up. I will say, pretty self-assuredly, he's not ready for the big leagues today at 18. I will say that,
and I agree. And the level of success once he gets, I do believe he will get to the big leagues.
I do too.
Now, the level of success, there's a wide range, between solid everyday starter and, perennial all-star, which I believe he has the capability of being. But that won't be determined until he, it goes beyond just talent at that point. It's work ethic, it's savvy, it's how quickly you adapt to the big leagues, how you take care of your body on a day-to-day basis. There's so much more that goes into being a successful big leaguer beyond just talent. He's got the talent. There's no doubt about that, I think, with Leo DeVries. He has the talent. Can he put the other pieces of the puzzle together to then be a consistently producing big league star?
Yeah.
We won't know for many years.
And Roberto in the chat says, give me a break. Tirso's only had 16 at-bats. Well, hey, man, my counter to that is if he had better at-bats early, he would have more than 16 at-bats. I like Tirso. I think the ball he barreled to center field the other night, the swing he's got a beautiful, beautiful left-handed swing. Think about it, though. We need left-handed hitting so badly, and they're still not giving him looks right now, right? We needed left-handers so badly. For whatever reason, Shildt, AJ, he's there. He's still on the team, but for whatever reason, there's not a lot of trust in him right now. And I think they're going to continue to give him shots here and there. You can't whiff on a bunt. That can't happen. Shildt probably lost his mind when he whiffed on that bunt. It's little things like that. It's petty, dude. Like it's how it works. Those guys are like, oh, we can't trust you. And what's the old saying about trust? You can spend a lifetime building trust. It takes 1 second to lose trust. One. And it's and I think the same can go with these guys as they're coming up trying to make a name for themselves.
And while it's too early to make huge judgments on a guy's career, and we're just a month into the season, it's not too early to start making changes. Yuli Gurriel's gone.
He's gone.
He's not coming back.
Yep.
We wondered, will they wait until Memorial Day to make their judgment? No, they had seen enough as of yesterday. That experiment is over. So they are making judgments every single day on their players.
That's great. And it's great. And look, I think everybody was really, really pleased for a multitude of reasons.
And they'll do so in a fair manner. They won't do it the way fans do it, like
every day. Game by game.
They'll look at a strikeout and go, hey, but I liked his approach on that.
Yeah, of course.
He took one on the corner. I thought it was a ball. You're like, Tatis is striking on the first inning. It's not a bad strikeout. He laid off pitches.
Tatis for 5, firemen to the sun.
Exactly. So
he's done. Bench him. He needs to be benched.
They'll be fair in their assessments, but they have their assessments.
That was a joke, by the way, lest someone takes me serious.
All right. I have we can talk more about today's matchup, including we'll do a little more research on the starting pitcher for the Giants. I do know how to pronounce his last name, though.
Is it I'm gonna guess. Is it Rope?
Nope. Damn it. I will tell you what it is when we come back.
That's your tease, a pronunciation of the guy's name. Hey, make sure you guys hold through all the commercials.
To be fair, it is kind of important.
It is. That being said, all right, coming up next, Ben pronounces a name.
Well, why don't you do some research on what they're actually facing?
Okay.
I know you had some of the numbers up earlier, and we'll get into a preview of today's series finale coming up after a check of traffic with Ben and Woods here on 97.3. The Fan. First, though, Woods and I want to tell you about Trust and Will. Who was it early in the chat today?
Oh,
I know someone
Steve,
said that Steve went to
Yeah.
trustandwill.com, got it done. We see more and more tier ones taking our advice, getting that off your plate. And that really is what we're talking about here. Simply taking something that you should have done a year ago, 10 years ago, and getting it done so you have the peace of mind knowing that if something happened to you, you have a will or a trust set up to take care of your family, to make your wishes known, to avoid the squabbles that sometimes happen when loved ones pass away. You can avoid all of that simply by going to trustandwill.com.
Make sure you use the code FAN when you check out. You'll get 20% off, all right? And they'll ship you your estate documents for free. Having a lot of tier ones weighing in on it. Thank you guys for doing that. I think your family's going to thank you as well. If you get that trust, your family will not have to go to probate court and fight about everything. And it can be very lengthy and expensive. You guys know that. We've told you. But for those of you that have done it, great job. For those of you that haven't, what are you waiting for? Trustandwill.com. Use code FAN when you check out and do it today. Trustandwill.com.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
This segment of Bennett Woods brought to you by Robert Half. At Robert Half, they found that 67% of companies want to increase contract talent. That's why their recruiters, expertise, and award-winning AI work quickly to find the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, they know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today. All right, what do we know about today's starting pitcher for the San Francisco Giants? Landon Bryce Roop. Roop is a 26-year-old right-hander who made his debut, actually, against the Padres last March on the 29th at Petco Park with an inning of relief. Made 4 starts and 19 relief appearances for the Giants last year. 1-2 with a 3.58 ERA. He's only made starts, 5 of them this year. 2-1, 4.56 ERA, 25 innings, 31 strikeouts, though, in those innings. Now, 1.5 whip is not great, so he allows some base runners, but he does keep the ball in the ballpark, Woods. He had a streak last year, the longest of the Giants season, of 187 consecutive batters without allowing a home run.
Yeah.
He says Logan Webb's his favorite teammate, his best friend, and they pitch kind of similar. A lot of sinkers, getting ground balls, keeping the ball down. He's also got a pretty nasty curveball.
He's a soft contact guy, and he doesn't walk a lot of hitters either. So he's going to be around the zone. It's going to be hard to barrel him up. It doesn't feel like an ideal matchup for our beloved San Diego Padres today. But again, a guy that with Michael King on the bump, you get to this kid early, game over. Michael King can absolutely take the bull by the horns.
I think it's good that they just spent an entire game against Logan Webb trying to
soft sweepers,
trying to do
two-seamers,
like, and just poke some line drives and do what you can, find some holes.
Eno talks about that a lot too. Of like, you want different guys in your lineup. You can't have 9 guys with the same swing, and I think the same can be said for pitching staffs as well. You don't want the same back-to-back, like, oh, we've got Brandon Webb. Now we have Brandon Webb light, a little bit younger Brandon Webb pitching, or Logan Webb pitching the next day. But yeah, like you said, he's a curveball guy. He's a sinker guy. That's 84% of his pitches. He will mix in a change very rarely, and the cutter is even more rare than that. But yeah, he's like Logan Webb light. He gets a lot of whiffs though, and he gets a lot of chase. So he doesn't give up a lot of hard contact. So they're going to have to figure out a way to scratch some out, as they always do.
Not a lot of experience. Just a couple of Padres have had at bats against him, and as I mentioned, a scoreless inning. So not a lot of success in the past. So it'll be an unfamiliar face for most of the Padres order.
Yeah, I think we've had 12 ABs off of him as a team collectively, no hits. So
not enough to really form any
what we call
judgment.
in sports radio a small sample size. Just win a ball game today with your ace on the mound.
So, and if the Padres do find a way to win this game, clearly you can't undo a 4-game losing streak in 2 games, but you also feel as though they've mitigated the damage. They can head out on the road with a 19-11 record, 8 games above 500. You know, it's a tough road trip, but you know, Pittsburgh is below 500, not off to a great start. The Yankees are going to be tough. Clearly, they're hitting, you know, a lot of home runs. They're probably the best team in the American League right now, so you got that tough one. But then you got the Rockies at the end who've struggled. Now, it is Coors Field, but they're not winning anywhere right now. And you really want to make sure that you take advantage of that series, because once you play them, you've only got 2 more against them all year long. You're using those up. You went 3-0 the first time. You really do want to win that series at least the next time around, and hope that they stay as cold as they've been early in the season, because then you know you've got the chance for a winning road trip, which the Padres have not played as well away from Petco Park as they have at home this year.
Not at all. And you know, with 9 games, Benny, you're going to come home plus or minus for sure. You're right. There's no 500 road trip possible
unless there's a rainout.
Right. But you know, one way or the other, you're going to come home either a winner or a loser, and you know, you'd be fine. You'd be more than fine with coming home with a winning road trip against some of those teams. But yeah, man, the Rockies, you know, they're going to continue to scare me until we don't have to play them anymore. The Yankees, like you said, can be really, really tough. Depends on what day you get them on. I mean, honestly, one day they can look like the worst hitting team in baseball. The next day, they're launching balls out of the yard. And then the Pirates, they've got some good young players. They got some guys that can absolutely torch you if you let them. But I do believe we will be missing the great Paul Skeens on this trip again. Never pitched against the Padres.
He is scheduled to pitch
Paul
on
Skeens.
Thursday,
Yeah.
so the
So
Padres will miss him this weekend, likely. They missed him twice last year when they faced Pittsburgh in the second half of the season. Just happened to miss both of his appearances when he was there. So, you know, it's fine. He's their best chance to win a game at any point. So you miss him. That's a good thing for the Padres.
All day.
We do not have a lineup yet. We could get one here in the next half hour or so. We'll keep an eye on that. If Mike Shildt turns one in, he doesn't do his pregame. No pregame media on day game getaway days. So just waiting for that lineup to be released by the San Diego Padres. If we do, we will let you know. Otherwise, we got our Rindle Report headlines coming up in the final segment of Ben and Woods. That is next, right here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3, The Fan.
Well, I know that my beloved Benjamin has been enjoying his NBA playoffs. I've not watched as much as I probably should have, but baseball season is in full swing, and with Underdog, you can play both. But with basketball right now, check out their extender promo. You can play your way to increasingly bigger boosts each round of the playoffs. You start playoff game by using your game 1 boost, then continue boosting each subsequent game to unlock the next one. The longer the series, the bigger the boost. There's always these fun little games that you can play on Underdog. It's really, I've been having a blast with it. You guys will too. You guys know how daily fantasy works. Just choose higher or lower on things like points, assists, or hits, strikeouts, things like that. If you want to mix and match sports, you absolutely can do that. You can play with as little as $1. If you get everything right, you can win up to 1,000 times your money with Underdog. Download the Underdog app today. When you sign up, use the promo code WOODS, WOODS, to unlock a special offer of up to 1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. That's promo code WOODS. You must be 18 and over, 19 and over in Alabama, Nebraska, present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/extend.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Hey players, things are about to get real here in San Diego. Introducing the all-new Hamul Casino Resort. With a 200-room hotel tower, exciting new eats and drinks, plenty of new places to play, and a luxe spa and salon. Hello, rooftop pool and deck. It's where players can play their hearts out and enjoy all the perks that come with it. It gets real this summer at the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the players' place.
You going to talk any basketball in the Rindle report?
Nope.
Didn't think so. Thus, I have to do it right now.
We talked about the biggest story in basketball.
We did. Pacers eliminating the Bucks on a last-second overtime shot by Tyrese Halliburton. His dad coming out and getting in the face of Giannis. That certainly was the biggest story last night. You did see the Nuggets beat the Clippers. That series is going to go back to L.A., 3-2 now. Nuggets trying to close it out. That could go game 7. Celtics eliminated the Magic with a 30-point win at home, and the Pistons stayed alive. They beat the Knicks at Madison Square Garden 106-103. So that series going back to Detroit for a game 6 at least, potentially headed to a game 7. Pistons have been one of the surprise teams in the NBA, keeping their season alive. 2 games today, Timberwolves and Lakers tonight at 7. Warriors at Rockets at 4:30. Warriors can close out the series, as can the Timberwolves, but both of those teams on the road tonight in the NBA playoffs. All right, there's your NBA talk. Paulie's got his Rindle report after our last check of traffic.
Got to remember to play the music. I'll get more into it if you play the music. Yes. Oh, now I'm into it. Brandon
Chicago White Sox are going to be wearing the uniforms that go with that music.
Brandon just said in the chat, nap time, Woodsy. Yeah. He was getting going. You're nervous, aren't you? I can hear it in your voice about tonight's game.
I don't want the Lakers to be eliminated. So yeah, there's some nerves there.
I wonder who's more nervous, you, Max Muncy.
But you know what,
Ben, you do a great job.
Roberts.
If you could guarantee me one win today, a Padres win over the Giants or the Lakers,
you better be taking
win,
the Padres.
I'm
Giants.
Still taking the Padres
every day.
You know where my loyalty is.
I do.
All right, Paulie's got his Rindle report. Last check of traffic from Kelly here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danek.
Several things to mention here. Crash on westbound 54 before National City Boulevard. It's over the right shoulder. Also, 3-vehicle accident north 805 before Balboa. That's over the right shoulder. Watch out for ladder reported in middle lanes. Westbound 52 before Mask Boulevard. They also have an accident on eastbound 78 right before the 15. Those vehicles are over the right shoulder. I'm Kelly Danek with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Rindle Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Rindle Report with Paul Rindle.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Rindle Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah?
All right. Good morning, gentlemen. Let's see here. We will start kind of a slow, sportsy news day yesterday.
Yep.
We got into a lot of the big headlines, but how about in the NFL? Congratulations to George Kittle. Signed a 4-year extension with the San Francisco 49ers worth $76.4 million contract extension with 40 of that guaranteed to him.
Like that, dude.
He's a lot of fun to watch, man. I wasn't sure if he was going to be sticking around there or not, but he is 4 more years with the 49ers. And then I think it's one of the dumber parts of sports media, the Hey, breaking news. This player has signed this extension. First on it, John Heyman, Jeff Bassett, whatever. You got to credit everybody. You got to credit everybody. Even though it's totally possible that these agents or the teams or the players themselves are talking to more than just one person.
So who got mad for losing credit?
Will Compton he does Bussin' with the Boys, and it's the Barstool NFL podcast. And Will Compton put out a video where he's calling out Ian Rappaport, demanding that Bussin' with the Boys be credited for breaking the George Kittle news. He told them directly, he told the podcast, I'm staying in San Francisco.
Kittle did, yeah.
Here are the details.
Yeah, there you go.
And
that's good info.
He even, I went and checked, Bussin' with the Boys posted a graphic, the details, everything. It says via Will Compton, Taylor Lewin, and Bussin' with the Boys. That was posted yesterday at 3:50 a.m. here locally on the West Coast.
Okay.
And then 30 minutes later, the NFL posts, George Kittle, 49ers agree to terms on a 4-year contract, blah, 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 making him the highest paid tight end via Rap Sheet.
Oh, not Bussin' with the Boys.
So Bussin' with the Boys, very upset, demanding to be credited.
Now,
as if that really
you certainly shouldn't just wait for someone else to tweet something and then take that information, turn around and make it your own. That's unethical. However, there are plenty of insiders who get the information on their own. They may never have seen
Bussin' with the Boys,
not listened to it, not seen their tweet. They don't follow them. They got a call from the agent.
I'd say
they
Rap
reported it.
Probably knows,
and that's a legitimate. You developed that story yourself. You don't have to credit anyone else.
You definitely knows who they are.
Oh yeah.
You did the work yourself, though.
You got the info.
Story. You don't have to credit anyone else to do that.
I did see people tweeting about Ryan Bergert's call up last week, and I believe Paulie and I did deserve full credit because it was broken here on Ben and Woods. You know how much sleep I lost over it? None. You know how much money I made off of it? 0.
It's
you know how much credibility it gave me? None. 0.
Yeah, it's kind of wild that people care so much.
They get so mad
about it. Now there are truly legitimate scoops where you have something
that
no one else has.
How about Luka, right?
In that case, it's absolutely appropriate to credit the reporting source of that story. They developed something that no one else had. Give them credit. They did the work. Hey, credit so-and-so. When it's an extension like that, though, and that information is available from other sources, I don't think Bussin' with the Boys should be pitching a fit.
What
about
does bussin' mean?
Well, I think they literally bus around.
No. Bussin's a slang word, isn't it?
Well, it is.
But what does it mean?
It's really good.
It's when you take the dirty dishes off a table.
The bussin'.
Yeah, you bust.
That chicken is bussin'.
Is that what it means? Bussin'?
But I do think they also literally bus around to different NFL training camps during August and do their podcast in the bus.
In slang, bussin' means, this is AI.
Save this.
Something is exceptionally good, delicious, or impressive.
I just told you that.
Yep. Often used to describe food or experiences. Bussin'.
Bussin'. This cheesesteak is bussin'.
Yes.
I would feel like an idiot saying it. Myself.
How are we getting from the airport to the rental car counter? We're bussing.
No, we're in an Uber. We're Ubering. Bussing.
Bussing. I'd like to hear Ben say that more.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy, I'm about to bust.
Not that. That's totally different. That's a totally different meaning. And the word, he has a T on the end of it.
Oh, I can take out the T.
Yeah.
All right. That's
but then the title of their podcast doesn't really make sense.
Awesome.
Bussin' with the Boys. It's not. It's delicious with the boys.
Yeah, delicious.
Lord have mercy, I'm about to bust.
It doesn't make any sense.
Please stop playing.
If you said this podcast is bussin',
that's better.
That's better. But bussin' with the boys makes 0 sense in that slang usage.
Is that what are they using it as that what Paulie just played? More like busted?
No. I'm almost positive it is the slang terminology.
For delicious.
Anyways, we'll move on.
Delicious with the boys.
That's
delicious with the
literally
boys.
what they mean.
Doesn't sound as good.
It doesn't.
Got an update on this cringy, creepy Bill Belichick relationship. We talked about it the other day with Jordan Hudson, his very young girlfriend, who was interrupting their CBS sit down with Bill Belichick over the weekend. And there were reports that was actually messier than even the clips that went out.
Yeah.
Like they had to delay the interview for over 30 minutes because she was storming in and out, and it wasn't good. And now it's come to light over the last couple of days that Jordan Hudson, Belichick's girlfriend, has gone ahead and trademarked a bunch of phrases and words that are related to Bill Belichick. And it's all following what's now like a 2-year trend of Taylor Swift, the Taylor's version. These are all Bill's version.
What's on to Cincinnati?
We have stuff like
Bussin'.
all Belichick team, all-time all Belichick team, Peachy Keen and Wonderful, Saving Miss Daisy, Ignore the Noise, Bill's version, Do Your Job, Bill's version, Chapel Bill, Bill's version, The Belichick Way.
Paulie Quincy says it's literally on a bus. So maybe I swear I've seen them in a house before.
They do the bus.
There's another thing I like that's on a bus, but that's different.
That's
totally different.
Yeah.
I'm over the Bill Belichick
Trail of
story.
Salty Tears has been trademarked. The Dynasty.
How do you not do
Bill's
on to Cincinnati?
version?
I think that was the best.
Yeah.
That was the best Bill Belichick-ism of all
You
time.
guys over this story a little bit?
I was over it a year ago.
Yeah.
Apparently, she also is the one who torpedoed the North Carolina version of Hard Knocks that they were going to do.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she wanted too much control, and they were right at the finish line, and they didn't get there.
Carlos just laid me out. He said, Bill's about to get the broccoli cut. He shows up in some tight-ass Viore pants and a broccoli cut.
Probably can make that happen with AI. I think.
Probably can.
Captain in the chat says these old dudes are getting shaken down. I don't know, man. I do feel there's some aspect of that, which is a tale as old as time. The rich, wealthy old man with the young, hot, woman on his side. That's happened a million times. I do feel that Bill is probably pretty stoked with what he has. Don't you guys? You'd have to be to put up with this, number one, and hello, quid pro quo. That's kind of probably what he's looking for.
Well, I mean, I don't even necessarily want to think of it in that sense. That's quid pro quo makes it seem like, hey, we're both just in this for what we get out of it.
Remember Anna Nicole Smith and her husband?
Right,
Remember that guy?
But in a certain sense, I think in a relationship, it's important that both sides bring something to the table.
Yeah, I agree.
And in this case, it seems like they're both bringing something to the table.
You do get the sense too of she's like, hey man, I'll date you and I'm attracted to you and I like you and you're an interesting guy, but we need to clean. You're a bit of a project, right? And I can clean some of this up, and I'll do your emails for you, and let's write a book. And it does. There's a part of it that feels a little opportunistic, but then there's also a part of it that's like men have been needed to be cleaned up by women for a long time. This is not a new. This is Paulie. She
doesn't want to feel like she's just a gold digger
right
for the money.
So
she wants to be an active member of
his life,
which requires her to probably be more active than we all think she should be.
Irie Fangi says, I'm 40. I want to find me a 70-year-old sugar mom. I'll flip the script on everybody. Yeah, can do that too.
Now, Ted Johnson is a former Patriots linebacker who does radio in Boston.
Yeah.
He's gone as far as to say that she's embarrassing him right now, and that North Carolina should maybe reconsider if this is the direction that they want to go because of all of the headlines that he is generating. They're all for the wrong reasons.
Now, if she's out there stalking the sidelines with him during a game,
we've already seen it in practice.
She's been around practice. If she's on the sidelines with him, then
the headset on.
She's the new DC. He's like, I'm actually a defensive genius. He's like, I'm doing this.
Right.
No, I'm Bill Belichick, defensive wizard. No one is better at defense than me. I'm calling the defense, Bill. Right? So that would be a little bit of a problem.
There's Bill Belichick with the broccoli cut.
Oh,
on our
God,
YouTube
where? His
stream. Oh, I wish you could see it out there in your cars, but it's
We're at the
trust us. It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny.
That's so good. That haircut is the death of me. It's the I was at Jersey Mike's the other day. I parked, and I watched 3 kids, probably 16, 17, all get out of their car. They all had the exact same short shorts on, the exact same tight T-shirt, and 3 broccoli heads. And I just went, God love you guys, man. God love you guys. They are like, it's like watching three of the same dog walk into a room. They're like, you guys are triplets. I was crying, dude. I was like, God love you, dude. I picture my kids coming on. Hey, what's up, Dad? I'll be like, you got to get out. You're done. That's it. That's it. You look like a clown.
I don't know you anymore.
Oh, God. Paulie. It's one of the best. You do see it too. Like I've actually had a couple buddies that started dating younger girls, and I married a younger woman. But their whole scene changes. You're like, you don't wear bracelets. You've never worn bracelets. You don't wear shirts like that. You've never worn shirts. And I'm like, my girl likes me in it. All right, I get it. You do what you got to do.
I get it.
Holy cow, dude.
And then quickly, finally, I've got a story.
Can we just please talk about that haircut and Bill Belichick wearing it for the rest of the day? Why did you take it there? It's still so good.
There was a 27-year-old Chinese college student living in Japan. He had to be rescued off of Mount Fuji twice in a week.
You're joking.
Yeah, he went too high outright. And
he got like altitude sickness and got ill.
So that airlifted him off the
mountain. And then he, feels better. He's doing okay. He realizes, well, I left some of my equipment and my phone up there. So he climbed back up there and had to get airlifted a second time in a week.
It's unbelievable, dude. It is unbelievable. Thanks for that picture, bro.
Saw a great picture of our beloved Steve Sugimoto hitting a ball right toward Mount Fuji.
It's incredible.
In Japan. Really cool shot. All right, that's it for us. Braden's live from the Western Metal Building today until Sammy's pregame show. That's coming up next. For Paulie Rindle, Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. Talk to you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. with Bill Belichick and his hair on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.